Yo!
YOJIMBO! Yeah!
I think we nailed it. I think that's enough. I think we can just kind of...
I think we're done.
Yeah, I think that
Let's
was
just
it.
zip right. Do that thing where we zip right out of here.
Yeah. Ooh.
Oh.
Well, I think we did it. It's just
You
there's,
put like a
there's
tip
a
cup
delay.
in.
A what? Oh yeah, there is a tip cup. Yep. Yeah. That's the truth. That's the truth of my life. Hi everybody.
Hi everybody.
Hello. Hello.
We're starting this late enough, as per usual.
Yeah,
So
this is really
there's
super.
nobody
late.
out there. That's cool.
That's all right. That's okay.
Because it turns out we like this movie, but
Yeah.
I think we probably should have maybe started with this, then go to 7. Look, 7 Samurai set a high water mark.
Yeah.
And so I watched this and I was like, that was really fun. And I'm glad I watched it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was. I think it's definitely a solid film. I think it may be. I mean, just right off the bat. Goodness, we're just jumping right into it. Hey, that's cool.
We never do that.
I know. Yeah. I feel out of sorts. We are on topic. What are we doing?
I can give you a quick Sekiro update if you would like.
Please do
one.
that if we want to. Yeah, please, a diversion.
I started in G+.
Okay.
But before I did that, I was like, okay, I beat all the bosses and I made sure I beat every single boss or mini boss that I needed to beat and got all the stuff I could possibly get on my first playthrough and blah 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 blah. And the one boss I had left, which I talked about last week, which I was about to start, was Demon Hatred.
Yes, tell me how that went.
So I played him for 3 nights, and then on the last night, I cheesed his ass.
You knocked him off the
right off the cliff.
You did?
Because
on purpose?
Fuck that guy.
Hey.
I hate
Congratulations.
that boss.
Congratulations.
It's the only one I cheesed, and I felt no remorse about it because I gave it 3 nights, and I kept being like, I should be getting, after 3 nights, I knew how to beat Genichiro. Like, I just don't like that boss. I thought it was a cheap boss. I was like, I don't like the mechanics of this.
Yeah.
I don't like how it plays. I know there's like, well, it's like a Dark Souls. I'm like, no. With the bridging of the gap of like a Dark Souls boss with Sekiro's gameplay, I was like, this is garbage. He keeps steamrolling me and I die completely. Like, you have to play it perfectly.
Yeah.
And like,
Did you get to the point where you could deflect anything?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, kinda.
Yeah.
But like, I just kept. It wouldn't be any one thing that kept killing me. It was just like, okay,
right.
now I'm running away from him. Oh, but there's so much shit in the field that like I would get run into a wall or a beam or something, and then that would kill me.
Yeah.
And,
yeah. Environment kills are the worst.
Yeah, environment
you get
kills.
Stuck, or like you jump back when you go, what? And
Yeah.
there was an invisible tower. It was invisible so you could see through it. And I go, well, great. I can't move. I was trying to get away from him, and he just went.
And it didn't help that, like, I would say 25% of the time I was getting killed because the camera was just completely fucking, probably 35%. I was just getting completely fucked over by that camera.
Yeah.
Like, because he would jump up, he would do the thing, and then sometimes it would get lost when he, like, jumps up and then comes back down on you, and it would try to re-graph, but I'd lose my thing, and all of a sudden I'm swinging at something else, and then he would kill me.
I can't.
It happened too often.
One of the worst things in these games, I'll say, is that there's some sort of mechanic where if the boss gets far enough away from you or something, but he's still like I'll try to lock onto him and it'll lock onto something directly behind me, and I go, and it flips me around, and I go, what?
It's
and
like it's a gecko.
Yeah.
It's one of those geckos.
It's really really
really
crazy.
It was super frustrating, and so I was researching them, and they're like, you can do this, but this is also really hard to do, which is like you have to jump on a tower and then jump across.
Yeah.
And like apparently it was like a really hard thing to do. I did it on my second try. So I was like, yeah, I'm good at that. I'm good at cheating, and it feels really good.
It's
and
not
when
cheating.
When he died, I was just like, yeah, that feels good. Now give me your memories so I can turn them into power.
I will confront them, and I will get what I need to. Yeah, absolutely.
I put my time in. I put my time in.
I think that is a very, very important point in the life of a human. When you are playing a Dark Souls or Sekiro game, you're playing a FromSoft game, and you go, you know what? my pride does not outweigh my desire
Nope.
for happiness, sleep,
Yes.
peace of mind, and I'm just kind of tired of it.
I was just tired because
Yeah.
he's not. From
It's
the
an
get
important-
go,
it's an
I
important
did
part.
not find him to be a fun boss.
Yeah.
I would have played Genichiro for a week
Yeah,
straight
yeah.
because I could feel myself learning it and getting better.
Yes.
And each time I was like, this is very satisfying, even though he's
Yeah.
killing me. This one, I was just like, I don't even like this fight.
Yeah.
It feels cheap to me.
Yeah.
It's like it's not built into any other type of fight before because I'm a non-Dark
Yeah.
Souls player.
Yeah.
And even though I'm learning the moves and I'm learning his patterns, I'm still dying. And
Yeah.
that's when I was just like, I'm getting better, and it's still punishing me, in my opinion, unfairly.
Sure.
Because of not non-gameplay stuff, like the camera,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
just like the camera combined with the environment,
Yeah.
or just weird shit like that.
Yeah.
So I said, fuck it,
Yeah.
and I never looked back.
Hey, congratulations. There
And
is
then I got an NG, and I was like, God, NG's fun. Like, I am really enjoying it because
you're like
you're powerful and you
yeah.
know how to play the game.
Yeah.
So it's just like it's fun to go through each boss and pretty much fly through it
Nice.
and just be like, I'd be like, I'm beating most of them on my first try.
yeah.
Like I died when I saw Genichiro for the first time. I beat him on here,
Yeah.
but I died
Yeah.
immediately. And then, like, I'm dying a couple times through some other ones, but, like, I beat Headless Ape in one go, which was, like, super
Really?
satisfying.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
See, yeah. My thing is I'm afraid on my second playthrough of a game, usually it's been long enough that I just forgot everything and I can't.
Yeah.
But
I didn't plan on doing it. It's just, I was curious,
Just
and
happens.
it happened, and I was just like, I still like playing it. And there's enough replay value in, like, beating things quickly.
yes.
Because, like, I'm already over halfway through, and I've only played it for 2 nights. Like, I'm flying through it.
That's awesome.
So I'm going to finish out my second gameplay,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't really have a desire to get all 4 endings, but I'm going to go for just the next ending where I, like, betray.
Yeah, the
for,
different bosses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I want to play the other
Yeah,
2 bosses.
boy,
Yeah.
oh boy, that's interesting. That sounds super freaking fun. Well, that's awesome. Congratulations, congratulations
I mean,
on flying through the game. That's good.
I feel good about it.
Yeah,
I'm going to feel lost once the game's over, because I do
I
wanna,
felt that too.
I want to stop after this playthrough, and then I want to... I was telling him I want to get a new game. I want to take a break, but I like playing games at night to wind down.
Right.
And
Yeah.
but I need something to wind down.
Yeah. Sekiro kind of
this
is
one
like
did not wind. This wound me up.
the
till
rest
5
of my
a.m.
the rest of my life is kind of a wind down from Sekiro. Like I'd be like I in every like there early on I'd be like I just can't wait to get back to it. I can't wait to get back to it. And then I would like play it and be like, gosh darn it, I just need a break. Let me go like answer a billion emails and just be stressed out about how life is progressing. Yeah, it's just like oh gosh, I just need a break from this game. And it's it's a vacation from your vacation.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you need something that's like a change of pace. Something that is genuinely.
I need something fun.
Something like
still challenging, but like I don't know. Like this one pissed me off in a good way, but like I just need.
Yeah.
I need something.
Something that's like challenging to the point that it's like somewhat interesting, but also fun. So something that like you might call a game, right? Something invented for enjoyment as opposed to frustration and like digging deep and confronting darkness and demons and like finding your own self-doubt and fear of failure and looking those in the face.
And isn't it crazy? Like after you play this game, you do all that stuff, and then at the end, you get like a couple days distance from after you beat the game, and you're like so proud that night when you beat it, and like I was so proud when I beat Ishin and things like that. And then you get like 2 days out, and you're like, I feel nothing.
Yeah, I don't care. Yeah.
I don't care at all.
And that's the last one, because Dark Souls, like from all these games are like they're like, hey, see, it's fun. You can do stuff. You feel good, right? You feel good, right? You're nothing.
Yeah.
You're nothing. And then you're like, oh gosh. And you're like, you're nothing. And then you get it, and it goes, yeah. See, don't you feel good about yourself? Aren't you glad I called you nothing? And you go, I feel like
Are you my pimp?
yeah, exactly. And then it goes, oh, just move forward. Well, but I kind of move forward or you're nothing. And then you keep going.
Like, don't make me hurt you, babe.
Yeah, exactly. And then you go through it, and then finally you get to the point where it's like, now is when you face the fact that on top of all of it, you were really nothing. And you're like, don't you have anything else? And it's like, nothing. And then you're nothing for a long time. And then you beat it. And you go, oh, I did it. Are you proud of me, Dad? And then it goes, whoa. and From goes, yes, son. Yes, I am. Ah, don't you feel good? It's why I did this to you. And you go, wow. And he goes, good job. And then you go off, and 2 days later, you feel nothing. And it goes, see?
Yeah. It is.
None of it meant anything.
It is so.
It's a metaphor for life, which is meaningless. And you
but
go, all right, buddy.
That's what it is. And then for me, when I was playing Demon Hatred, it was like I felt like the prostitute. The game was my pimp. I was Jodie Foster in Taxi Driver.
Yes.
And then it gets to the point.
And there's no Travis Bickle.
But like I'm learning more and more on the streets about how things go, and then I'm starting to learn, wait, he doesn't love me. And also, these are just mind games he's playing with me. And like I'm getting more and more aware of it.
You read a book by Oprah.
Yeah, I read a book by some chicken soup, and then I get to Demon of Hatred, where he really tried some shit with me on Ishin, and he was and I was like, that was pretty harsh what you did to me.
Yeah, bro.
But like I'm gonna think about it.
Isn't it like
And then I go on the street, and then I come back, and he's done something so monstrous, and I'm like, and that's Demon of Hatred, and then I'm like, oh, you're a sad, poor, silly little man.
Yeah.
And I'm like, guess what? Fuck you.
Yeah, it's the moment where he goes, ah, and you turn around and go, no.
Yeah.
You're not worth it.
Yeah. He's like, I've lost all my power.
And it goes, no.
That's what it felt like, yeah.
It's great. And it truly, many, like very, very early on, I say pimp is a really good way to say it. I definitely, not to diminish this very, very serious situation that happens in real life, but it is like an abusive relationship.
It is.
It is an
It's not even like one. It is one.
It is. It is.
Because I'm only playing it because of how much punishment it's giving me.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I'm playing it.
And you have to like redeem yourself to yourself or to it? I can't tell the difference anymore.
It's playing on your worst competitive, like innate competitive nature. Yeah. And I think that's why some people either dig in or some people just like, fuck this. Because they don't have that in their DNA. Yeah. And I have enough of it.
Yes.
And the gameplay was fun enough.
Super.
And
it truly is fun.
It is. It's amazing gameplay. But the gameplay shines its most during swordplay. Yeah. Like when you're fighting really challenging bosses like Genichiro or Ishin. And so for me, especially after beating the whole game and then saving that one for last, because I was going to do it before Ishin, and I walked in and I said, nope. Yeah. I was like, I want to play Ishin because that looks like a whole thing. And then I came back to it, and I felt so accomplished already.
Yeah.
That after 3 nights, I was just like, fuck this. This
I already did this.
Yeah, I did this, and like this doesn't seem...
We killed you.
I'm not learning the way I learned on every other boss. Because I was like, I'm learning the patterns, and I'm still dying, and it's just, I just felt... I was just like, fuck it, man.
Yeah.
Just fuck it.
I get it. I definitely... Yeah, I definitely get it. And that's when it gets you, too, is when you're like, oh, cool. I beat the harder guy, so now I'm going to go. And then it just...
It's just still...
It digs it. And it's funny that you said, because there are people, there's like this, they're the two sides of the spectrum where someone goes like, oh, challenge. Oh, right. And they go like really, like, oh, like, they go, a deep challenge. Cool. Yeah. And like to like perfecting it, and they go, sweet. Boom. And they dig in their heels and they dig the whole way. They love it. Then there are people who go, oh, no, I don't have time for this. This is not something that I need in my life. Yeah. I am
right in the middle.
Enough in the middle.
Yeah, me too.
I am very much like, I don't like, after having played a lot of these games, I've moved the needle a bit more into that direction. But in general, I'm kind of like, I don't need to beat a video game. Who cares?
Yeah. Because some people thrive on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't care. It doesn't. The thing is, I don't have that part of it. What I do have is stubbornness.
Me too.
A whole lot of stubbornness.
A lot of stubbornness.
And that makes up for like enjoyment.
Oh yeah.
Like
you're feeding that little thing, that growth on your shoulder.
Yeah.
And you're like, have a little bit of this guy.
And it goes
right
like, yeah, nothing. And you go, oh really already? It's like the two ways to hook you are to like be something that's enjoyable, and I go, oh, this hooks me because I enjoy it. I'm having a good time. I will continue to do it. and then it goes, or the other thing is like, where it's like if someone was like it's like if someone was like, just pick up this strawberry off the ground, and they just kept pulling a rug out from under you. Like they're like this, and it's right there, and you go, okay, what? And they go, just kidding. And they go, oh, well, that was weird. And you go, okay, all right, what are you doing? Okay, yeah, okay, all right, well, okay. Well, I touched it that way. That's only 4 times I've already touched it. I'm gonna get. Okay, what are you doing? What? Would you just stop it? Would you stop it? What a weirdo. And you go,
and then at the end you're like, it's a fucking strawberry.
Yeah.
Like I don't even like strawberries.
Yeah. And I haven't gotten there yet. I have not gotten there yet. The stubbornness hooks you with the power of, because it starts out as stubbornness, and you go like, oh, you're not gonna beat me. You're not gonna beat me. You're not gonna beat. You're not gonna beat. You're not gonna beat. You're not gonna beat. You're not gonna beat me. 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 What am I?
Yeah.
What
have I become? It and hey, what's up,
Fern? What's up, baby?
What's up?
You have it?
And that's what that really is what it feels like.
It hooks
now
into
that
the opposite of enjoyment.
It does, because now that I'm playing on NG Plus, it's way easier, which is fun in its own right, because the first playthrough was so hard for me that like I'm getting. It's just fun to go through it and be like, "Ah, this is nice."
Yeah.
But having distance from that first playthrough, I'm just like, yeah, like the story is whatever. It's hard enough to follow. What's there is cool, and I dig it, and like, and the aesthetic and everything is beautiful. But like overall, it's just like, oh yeah, it was just like really punishing me, and I'm just a stubborn asshole, and like it just feeds off gamers who are really stubborn about winning.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's none of this is. I love the game.
Sure, it's great. It's amazing.
I got my money's worth out of this game.
100%.
I'm so happy I played it. I enjoyed it. But
I know.
Was it? Did I enjoy it?
You go like, man, I love these games. And then you go, what was that? Nothing. It's great.
Yeah.
Twitch.
So like I want to play. I don't like.
Yeah.
You mentioned Witcher 3 beforehand.
It's a good game.
I have it. I haven't played it. Is it gonna be enough of a?
It's so. Oh.
What is that nod for? Are you saying that's a good nod or a bad
nod?
Okay.
It is a game that is. It's another game that, again, like I was saying, it's a game that people were like, you're going to love it, and I was like, I don't think I'm gonna love it.
Yeah.
From the outside, it doesn't look like the kind of game I would like.
Right.
The guy has long white hair. I think that's dumb.
Yeah, I completely agree. Have you also Henry Cavill's?
Yes, I did.
And I was like, which is weird because like they showed the photo, I'm like, oh, that's not. No. If I was doing a translation.
Yeah. You play 5 minutes of it, and you go, it's Sean Bean. The only person in it is.
The only person to be that is Sean Bean from Game of Thrones. I know. Just Boromir him up and just make him look like that, and it's the only way to do it. They made him look like a cosplay.
Oh, I haven't seen.
Oh, it's bad.
Did it come out a while ago?
Yeah.
Then I have seen it, and it is not good.
It looks like cosplay. It looks like. His hair is real like shiny gray, like metallic gray, and then he just kind of looks like an elf from Lord of the Rings,
which is just the worst.
It's not a good look for like what I thought that character was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Jeff Bourne is gonna happen, but I gotta take a break. We were just
talking about it.
I gotta take a break. I gotta find a game that's gonna not piss me off so much.
Look, wait, what?
Are there new photos?
Yeah, I think there's a reaction.
Shit.
All right, this is a joke you wouldn't get. Sorry, that sounds mean. This is a joke that you wouldn't get if you hadn't played The Witcher. This is funny. Netflix's Witcher series delayed as method acting Henry Cavill won't stop accepting side gigs because
the mustache.
Because, well, yes, yeah, but the deal with The Witcher is that like there are all these side quests that are so engaging that you play those, and they really are great. That's the thing is that like, so here's a picture of here's another picture of
is that him for real?
That's a new one, or it's a more recent one.
Way better.
Which seems like they did that in reaction to the other one. They're like, look, and I go, yes, it does look like you put Jared Leto in a beard.
That does look like Jared Leto. It does not look like Henry Cavill.
I know.
He looks better there. It still looks too clean.
Oh, wait a second.
It needs to look like Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it needs to be Sean Bean. The only person that could be Sean Bean. Jeff Bourne went. So we were just talking about it, and Jeff has kind of hit a time in his life that I have yet to hit that I really should, where he kind of weighed, say, the benefits and drawbacks of a situation and made a choice just based on that. So we think he
I want to do it.
Yeah, might need a break.
But I want a break.
Witcher is great in the sense that it's one of those things that people were like, you're gonna freaking love it, and I was like, nah. And then I started playing it, and I was like, oh, it really is great. The story is incredibly well done. The writing is great. The voice acting is fun, and there's a bit of humor in it, which is nice. So it livens it up a little bit. And the combat is not hard. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's intricate enough. It's not Sekiro. It's not Dark Souls, but it's just like, oh, you ching chung chung, and then shoosh. There's enough going on that it keeps it interesting, and you kind of have to pay attention to each fight because if not, you might get killed. And then every once in a while, you just still get killed.
Yeah.
But it's not like you can if you need to. There's also like these things that you cast, which usually I'm not into, but it's easy, and you just kind of like. So if you want,
I didn't realize how much of you were just like, I'm a meat and potatoes guy. I'm just like, I just hack and slash my way through it, and I'm like, that's really cool. I respect that.
Yeah.
And then like when we started playing on your game, I was like, oh, he really meant that, because you had like 999 spirit owl emblems, and then I was like, how many skills do you have? And you're like, what?
Yeah, I go, what are you talking about?
It's like, what's a combat art? I'm like, wait, what?
Well, it's
like, I told you, man. Meat.
Potatoes. If it ain't potatoes, it's meat, and if it's not either, yeah. The thing is, I kind of pawn it off as like this, like, oh, like I don't care, man. I just like to slash
Simple
and block.
guy.
Just pretty good.
Doing a good day.
Bro, doing 405 Rosita. Calabasas. Okay.
I'm trying to think of another street name.
Oh yeah.
You're gonna want to take Alameda
down Sepulveda. That's where you want to go. Just gonna pass the Del Taco. Take a hook a left there.
All right.
Past the museum of the moving image.
Ports got too far.
No, bro, you ended up in Venice, man. You want to go past the museum of the moving image.
That started segueing into it.
That's a pull.
Yeah.
Here's
what were we talking about?
So here's I feel like I think you'll dig it. I feel like sorry. I was saying I like to be like something like whatever. It's really just because I go like in every game I go punch, jump, cool, let's go. And then it goes like, here's a new skill, and I go, shut your mouth. I am not. What's that? 3 buttons? Screw you.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna.
I'm the exact same way.
In Street Fighter, I jump and trip. I jump and kick and trip with Chun-Li. That's what I do.
You do this a lot.
Yeah. I go.
You would never learned how to like make Blanca go.
That one's easy because you go.
I know. That's the easiest one to do. It's
and
that.
The Chun-Li
can
kick.
You do a Hadouken?
So
I could never do a Shoryuken.
I get performance anxiety. Like if I practice them, I can go like so.
Full quote.
Yeah. I get performance anxiety. I try to play Street Fighter and I cannot get an erection ever in sex.
Even when playing with Chun-Li, I just can't. It will not happen.
My erections don't work. My penis is ineffectual. Oh. Hey, I just woke up.
We're gonna do a super cut. It's gonna be all from this episode.
Penis doesn't work. Doesn't work.
Yeah, no, I get it. I also, my penis also doesn't work.
Roll, bro.
All right, Rob.
Oh, hey, cool.
We should take Calabasas down to the ED doctor.
There's a real good doctor. There's a real good doctor. Oh, ED, because I thought you got it. You wrapped up. You wrapped it all up very nicely. Very nicely. Very nice indeed. Cool. What are you gonna want to do?
But even with The Witcher, I'm like, am I? Do I need like a completely new thing? Like, am I burnt out on that format right now? I think my only concern.
It's that sure. If you're tired of like clank clank,
yeah,
that's totally fine.
like maybe.
If you want, dude, there's some games out there. There's some like indie games that are like very like.
I'll take recommendations.
They are,
for that.
yeah, and they're games that are like experiences that I go, oh, this is a piece of art that only works.
Have you played that one where you're like a little cloak, like a
Journey?
red? Oh my god,
it's amazing.
It's beautiful.
Did you played it?
When I had a roommate, like this is now 4 years ago.
That's so funny. That's one of the ones I thought of.
I was not playing games. He was kind of the one who reignited because he had a PlayStation 3 at the time.
Yeah. Oh, the Spider-Man.
and he started playing like online, like I mean these indie games. And I was like, God, those look really cool. And then he showed me Journey, and I was like, that is beautiful.
It really, truly is.
And then right at the same time that I played that, then Alien Isolation came out, and I bought that and I played that, and that's kind of what started me.
Yeah.
Back into it, but yeah, I'd be down for some indie games. I also I bought Resident Evil 2 and you can play it twice though, so because you have two characters at the beginning of the game and they get split up, and then you play one character.
Yeah, was that good? It's
great.
Yeah,
I should bring that over in case you do want to play that, because it's fucking awesome.
Yeah,
I grew up with like I played them, but they built that thing from the ground up, and it's stunning to look at.
Journey, I was going to say, because I played it, and then like my playthrough.
Dude, I got teary-eyed playing that.
So did I. My playthrough got erased, which sucks. I can't go back and watch it now that I would. But
it is something fun to watch. It's like a screensaver.
There's a thing, yes, and there's the thing that only happens the first time you play it.
Yeah.
And once you know that, it's like, oh, it's a different thing. Because that was what I was like.
Yeah.
And how amazing. What a unique thing.
It's beautiful.
How does a game do that? Because you can't ever do that ever again.
Yeah. It's like watching a movie, essentially.
Yeah, and you're on this. But then
you can kind of get. I mean, it's always there. But yeah, that first one.
And it's such a it's beautiful no matter what. And it's still like and then you're kind of like, oh, cool. But that revelation is such a like. I mean, that's one of the most transcendent video game experience, artistic video game experiences, just because it's something unique to that medium, and it also goes, oh, you do that, you have that revelation, and then you go, oh my gosh, it transcends the game and goes, this is human connection, and it's really just dicks.
Yeah, those little penises, little dicks. Touch tips.
I ruined it, didn't I? No, but it really is, and you go, oh my gosh, and it makes you go, I love my fellow man. It's truly amazing. Yeah. And a movie can't do that like that.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
certainly not YOJIMBO. Gosh darn it.
Let's get into it.
Yeah. Here's. So
there's one other indie game I played. I just want to say it real quick. It was a black and white side scroller.
Limbo?
Yes.
Yeah. Heath was
loved Limbo.
There's a game called Inside that's by the same makers. Heath was like, you have to play it, because he loved Limbo, and I played a bit of Limbo, and it's very interesting.
It's great.
And I didn't get very far, but apparently Inside, everyone's like, oh yeah, Inside, like Limbo, but also Inside.
That's what it's called, Inside.
Yeah, it's called Inside. Okay. Yeah, and everyone goes like, oh.
Inside?
Limbo, but inside. So like inside Limbo, but like Limbo, but then inside, bro. Yeah. So here's the thing. I'll say one more thing, and then we'll segue. That from games, from soft games, and a stubborn gamer are like, the stubborn gamer is a samurai and looks across the thing, and there's a dude there, and from games are the samurai with a gun.
Let's talk about YOJIMBO.
Let's do YOJIMBO! Bonk! Ow. All right, so here we go.
Dude.
I mean, for real. Okay, so 19...
That's actually a really apt...
Isn't it?
That's so punishing, yeah.
Yeah.
I also hated that guy with the pistol.
Yeah, screw that guy. I think you're supposed to.
And I was just like, bro, you're relying on your pistol too much.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's that a metaphor for?
Yeah.
Your dick. Is that your dick?
Do you hold your dick like right now?
Do you hold your dick
in your bathroom?
In your bathroom.
You're kind of like, it's my dick.
And I was like, you know what the least intimidating way of pointing a gun is pointing it out of your bathroom.
It's going, I'm going to shoot you, but I'm chilly. I'm chilly.
Pull that here.
I'm not gonna.
Why don't we ever wear layers?
Yeah. I could extend it if I.
This isn't even my good kimono. I was in the shower. Then he hit the 2 pieces of wood together.
Yeah.
And said it was 2 a.m. and I came outside and I'm bathing.
Yeah.
You know how many times I get to bathe? Not often.
I wonder. I feel like that wood guy, that banging the wood together guy. Like, I was like, that's a crappy job. And then I go, oh, that's just a job he gave himself so he could have a job. Because, like, no one pays him to do that. And he just goes, bung, bung, it's been an hour. I'll be back in another hour.
I'm useful, right?
Because that's my purpose. Yeah.
I loved how when the magistrates
my hitting sticks. Yeah.
came and then he was giving them the money. Did you see what he was doing when he put the money down next to all 3 of them? I laughed out loud at it. I thought it was so funny.
Tell me again.
Because he gives them tea.
Yeah, right.
And then he comes back around and he puts something, you're not sure what it is.
Right.
And then they take
he spikes it.
They take the thing and they put it underneath and you realize that it's a bribe.
Oh, that's why the guy pulls it in.
They all pull them into their sleeves. Gotcha. But the way he puts them down... He does this move. He's very meek.
Yeah.
He just goes up to him. He's like, oh, and he puts it next to their arm, and then he pulls on their sleeve so they know that something's
the bribe's there.
And he goes. I'm gonna try to do this for the camera. He goes, and then he goes,
yeah.
And he stumbles backward. And he kind of like takes many steps backward, and then he went over to, and I was like, that was funny. And he goes to the next guy. He goes. And he did it 3 times.
Pull it up. Yeah.
And by the 3rd time, I was like, "That is a good." I was like, "I wonder if he just came up with that."
That guy's great.
Beautiful.
I mean,
he's great.
He must.
Like, everyone is great in this
truly,
movie. It is a really good movie.
Yeah.
I was only slightly disappointed because we started with 7 Samurai, and people had talked about YOJIMBO in a way that I thought we were viewing something that was on par on like every level that 7 Samurai was.
Yeah.
Whereas this one just worked more as like a really solid,
very solid
adventure kind of samurai film.
Just kind of, and like, I mean, very much because it was sort of, it's an interesting film in the sense that it was like inspired sort of by like High Noon and these kind of showdown western movies, and then in turn inspired for a
showdown western movies.
Yeah, right. So it's very interesting in that sense, and it I think it suffers, as many films do, many kind of groundbreaking and very, very influential films do, from the syndrome of like having inspired many, many, many things, and then people coming to them after they've seen those many, many, many things and going, "What's this? It's just another one of those." And it's going, "It was the first one."
It's just,
or it was like one of the.
That's interesting because my reaction to it was really, I was like, "This is a really great movie." Every other Kurosawa movie I've watched, though, I've been like, holy moly. Like, everyone, even the ones that are like, it's a little lesser, but every single one I was like, oh my goodness. Like, you're not only working on an adventure film level.
Right.
You're not even like breaking down the feudal system of Japan and then the shogunate system or whatever at that era. You're also breaking down modern society. And then on top of that, what makes human beings do the things that they do.
Exactly.
And it's like this amazingly layered for every movie, and some are more successful than others. And this was the first one where I was like, there's a little bit of that in terms of like the mind games and how he plays both sides.
Which is great. That's awesome.
When he finally commits an act of good, that's when things go south.
Totally.
And I thought that was genuinely interesting and done very well. But it was like, there was only like 2 layers, maybe 3 layers, which is great, and more than you would expect from most action movies.
Absolutely.
But when you're working with his type of catalog, and I've like watched I think 9 of his now.
Yeah.
All of them hold up to that kind of scrutiny, except for this one so far.
Yeah, and it's strange because I have to agree. Yeah, again, comparing it to like sort of a non-Kurosawa film, or a lot of non-Kurosawa films, or something that does posit itself as like an adventure where you care about the characters. Yeah. Like it fares well. But if you compare it to something like 7 Samurai, the difference for me is depth and human connection. It's connection. And again, it's like a solid, like, I go, oh cool. It's like watching like, I'm not trashing this, but it's like watching like Indiana Jones or something where I go like, oh yeah, cool. Although I don't know. Like,
well, it's kind of because it's building off that thing of like a serial.
It's like these like archetypal.
It's
very kind of.
I mean, this was the original man with no name.
Sure.
Figure.
Totally.
And even something like Indiana Jones, you're just like, this is our hero.
Yeah.
And that's all you need to know.
Yeah.
And they give Indiana Jones a little bit of backstory and stuff, and like what his job is.
He's got personality, obviously.
But like, it doesn't have the complexity. And I mean, granted, Seven Samurai is almost 4 hours.
Yeah.
So they put that other time to good use by getting to know all the characters.
Right.
But this one only had one main character, and you didn't know much about him at all by the end, except that he was admittedly a stone cold badass.
Yeah.
And he is a badass in this movie. And there are moments in this movie that I literally said out loud by myself. I was like, that was really badass.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, that was genuinely badass.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff like that peppered throughout the film. I really like the film. It just, when you're talking about his catalog, it, to me, I was just surprised because of how I've heard friends and also legitimate film scholarly types talk about this movie with such reverence.
Yeah, I agree. And Tarkovsky says comparing it to a non-Kurosawa film is pretty solid, but it lacks the "oh fuck, this is so good" of others.
Yeah,
which I think.
And there are "oh fuck, this is good" type stuff in the movie.
Totally,
like
but
when
as
he first slashes and dashes all the guys, I literally was like, God, that was amazing.
The thing is, I feel like again,
But you knew it was gonna happen.
Yeah, and I feel like. I feel like I'm very much being the kind of ugly American here, but like, watch Seven Samurai, and I was like, it's like Star Wars, but better.
Yeah.
And I genuinely feel that, and I say that with reverence for Star Wars, for what Star Wars is. I say sometimes I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan, which I'm not, but having watched it again, but like I like Star Wars is a phenomenon.
I love Star Wars.
And
I
Star
love
Wars,
the original trilogy with my whole heart.
And Star Wars is again immediately iconic. It does things quickly. It gets going quickly, does things memorably, and just nestles into your heart. Seven Samurai is instantly like that.
Yeah.
And has far more, and to me has more depth and more recognizable, genuine, organic humanity than Star Wars does, which is not knocking Star Wars.
No.
Seven Samurai is just amazing. And then here, again, this is what I'm saying, ugly American. I go, this reminds me of like Indiana Jones, but like not better. Like, just right there. Like, Indiana Jones, I watch, and I go, Indiana Jones is fun. Indiana Jones is a badass. Indiana Jones is going, cool. Oh, that's a cool moment. That's a cool moment. He's charismatic. Sweet. I don't cry. I don't go, oh, that's devastating. I don't go, oh, I just go, shut up, Winnie, you're annoying. Is that her name? Winnie? Yeah.
Wait, who?
Winnie? Is that her name? Winnie?
Winnie?
And Temple of Doom. What's her name?
Not Winnie.
It's not Winnie.
No. It's
all gonna break down.
Wait,
right
hold
now.
on. Now you got me thinking. It's
I mean, not Marion. I'm not talking about Marion. I'm talking about
it's
Linda.
Kate Capshaw.
Kate Capshaw. Sorry.
Kate Capshaw. Kate Capshaw.
Oh no! Give me the papers. Give me the papers.
Show me the blueprints.
Show me the blueprints. Guys, darn it! Get the papers. Get the papers. Is good for us. Dang it,
guys! Kate Capshaw, Temple of Doom. What is her name? Kate Capshaw. Kate Capshaw.
Kate Capshaw. Show me the.
It's something like that.
It's not Winnie.
But it's not Winnie. Winnie.
Kate Capshaw character, Temple of Doom. Temple of Doom.
Check
weird.
out these pictures.
It just says Brian is right. Weird. Sorry.
You just programmed it. You're just like, I need a boost every once in a while. Brian, you're so handsome and correct all the time.
This is an Apple echo chamber. Right? This is a really good phone. Oh my gosh. All right, gosh darn it.
Kate Capshaw.
Kate Capshaw. That's a really good name to say.
So close. You're so close.
It's not Winnie?
You are so close. You'll get it.
It's not Wendy.
It's not Wendy, and it's not Winnie.
It's Winnie.
What's your penis?
Willie. Ineffectual? Wait. Is it too far from the other one for that to be
name's
context? Yeah, exactly.
What?
Yeah.
I don't know. Sala impotent. Okay.
Yeah. Is it? Wait.
Is it?
Is it? Crooked and ashamed? Is that what it? Oh, Willie.
Crabs? His name's Crabs.
All right.
Anyway. Yes, but that's what it's like. It's just
kind of it's just like a Oh. So good.
It just doesn't work. I was surprised, but then I understood what it was doing.
Totally.
It was going for, it's the man with no name. He doesn't have a history. He drifts from one town to another, has these experiences that people turn into movies, and then by the end it's the whole point, because he drifts in, the movie starts, and he drifts out, and I love the last line where he's just like, see you around.
Yeah.
Shink,
Yeah.
walks off, and I was like, that is a fantastic way of ending that movie. I love the music.
The music is great.
I thought his performance was great.
Totally. Absolutely.
But because he's kind of playing it so light and kind of, he's just like this kind of dastardly type dude, it's all fun and enjoyable. It just never did the thing, and this is my preconceived thing that I'm going into it, is it's just like, I'm like, this is Kurosawa, it's going to have another thing underneath it, and it didn't to me. And so I was just like, by the end I was just like, that was great.
Yeah. And that's true, and that's all it is. I feel, I totally 100% agree with you. Having watched the first film, going into this one, having heard this name as much as any of his other films, and maybe,
and that was the other thing,
more. As I was like, this is the one. It's like his most popular film in Japan.
It's his most. I was so shocked to hear that.
It's on Roger Ebert's, and again,
and it was so popular at the time that he immediately. Even he was surprised that, like, because he hadn't had that level of success with a film, despite everything else he had done up till that point, which includes Seven Samurai by this point. That he was like, it was the first time he was like, okay, let's do a sequel of some sort. And so Senjuro, he did the
monster hit.
It was a monster hit. So they were like, let's do another one. And he was on board in game, so they did Senjuro like the next year.
Yeah, and it kind of makes sense though, because it's like because it's simpler and more and just straight fun.
Mm-hmm. I can understand. Yeah,
that's what's going to be more popular.
And it is people are gonna so be like, well done on every. It's a great movie.
It is.
It's just
it's just not going for what I thought I expected it to be going for.
Yes.
And then I was like, oh, okay.
It's like when I watch something. This is a terrible example, but like. When I saw Ready Player One, I'm just gonna rush it. I don't care. I'm just going for it. Look, I cheese Demon Hatred. I'm just going for it.
Oh, go for it.
When I saw Ready Player One, I finished it, and just because of circumstances, I ended up seeing it with a friend and then Kelsey. So I saw it twice in the theater. Yeah. And both times I walked out and I was like, he still got it.
Yeah,
like he's still an excellent filmmaker.
Sure.
And I got my money's worth, and he really, like, there's not a like, it's all on the screen, and he's a consummate storyteller, and you can see it. But at the same time, I was just like, this is Spielberg ultra light.
Yeah, totally.
And I'll never remember this movie, even after seeing it twice in the theaters, and I have no desire to revisit it.
Yeah, I've never seen it. I saw the trailer and went, okay, I just don't know what a Spielberg movie is anymore. Mm-hmm. Because that's, to me, because that was just a big CGI fest, which I'm not necessarily knocking.
And it's him doing what a lot of, I feel like, filmmakers of his caliber have to do, which is why you get a lot of more hits and misses as they get older. Yeah. Which is why someone like Tarantino is like, once I hit 10, I'm out. And I don't buy that, but like, I understand the mentality behind it, because it doesn't feel like a Spielberg film. Because it is all CGI, but he's also he's like the studio filmmaker. Right. He's the most successful studio filmmaker of all time. And him and Ridley Scott, you see them trying to adapt into this more and more modern era that they also completely pioneered themselves.
Yeah.
And it's just an interesting thing to watch them work within the context of the industry that they literally molded with their own hands.
It's just so weird to watch, to see his name on that trailer, and then watch the trailer and see this kind of like desktop wallpaper of action. You know what I mean? Or just when I think Spielberg, I think rock solid geography of the scene. I know where everything is.
That's
There's
true.
Just masterful use of practical and special effects, where it's just like, the camera's coming around here, this, and the boom, and these set pieces that are just tight.
But when you watch it,
and they go pam, 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 pam.
I think you should watch it.
I should watch. I would.
It still has that.
Okay.
Like his whole DeLorean chase, which kind of semi opens the movie.
Yeah, someone said something like that.
It's incredibly well done, and like the reason he uses CGI is because they're in a virtual world, so he kind of justifies all of it. But yeah, you're right. I mean, you're right.
I get that, but I'm also kind of like, cool. Like if I'm like, oh, look at that weird CG, like just that, like someone stamp tooled, CG all over everything, or just kind of sprayed CG, and people were like, oh no, it's because it's like in the computer, and I go, cool. I don't know that I need another movie in the computer so much that it's like if this is
had
just
to literally make it in the computer.
Yeah, it's
get
like
a human. Tell me it's a computer thing. Yeah.
Sure, or like even like I go tell a different story. Like
And the problem with
if this is if this is justified by this, and I go cool. Well, what's the value of this? And I go I don't really need this.
Yeah.
Like if someone's like
it also like I think that's the main thing is like. For all its fun, like look at that and it's like a Where's Waldo the entire movie because they're constantly walking in crowds within the game and you're like, was that Deadpool? And then you're like, was that Doc Brown or whatever it is, and then but it literally is Willy Wonka cut down to it's
definitely Willy Wonka.
Bare bones.
Yeah. Because
like even more so, I never read the book, but even more so than I have to imagine than what was in the book, it is cut down to its most like, okay, there's a virtual reality because the world's shit. Yeah. He's giving away his company. There's 3 keys you have to find. Yeah. You got to do races to get them. That's it. There's not even a third step there. That's it. Those are the 2 things. There's like an evil guy who owns the company, but like, it's just the story by the end. It's not even like it would have been cool to see someone like Edgar Wright tackle that movie. Yeah. I wouldn't want him to put his talents towards something like that because
but I wouldn't want Spielberg to do it.
He's
either.
better. Yeah. They're both better served with better doing more original material. Yeah. It's the same thing I say about David Fincher every single time. Yeah. And recently is like I own Dragon Tattoo. I watch Dragon Tattoo quite frequently because it's so well made and I learn something from it every time I watch it. Yeah. At the same time, I'm like, no one could have told this story better, and no one needed to tell this story, especially you, because you're so talented. You don't need to be doing this type of material. And that kind of, as I was watching YOJIMBO, again, enjoyed the movie. Thought it was great. Thought it was great. Yeah. Okay, I can't stress that enough. I thought it was great. And at the same time, knowing what his catalog is, and this is all hindsight, because knowing what his catalog was before and then well after, I'm like, you have created so much genuine art that this feels like just art light.
A trifle.
Yeah. A trifle.
It's just
and that's fine.
It's a
guess
confection.
What? He was like, guess what, motherfucker? I wanted to make a trifle.
Yeah. Exactly. Which he did.
I needed it. Yeah. Like because you know what I just made? 7 Samurai. You know I just made High and Low, and it's just like that shit takes stuff out of me. Yeah. I needed something light, and I'm like, cool, it's great. Because also, I thought it was great.
It is great. It is great. I agree. Hold on, let's catch up with comparing it to. I think in part that's one of the nice things about this film. It's not 7 Samurai or High and Low level depth. It's just fun action film. Yeah. It's the fun action film. That's kind of an important part of the film ecosystem. Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. I'd rather have a fun, good action movie like this than a purely mediocre film that I won't remember 2 weeks from now. Absolutely. Like, at least I'll look back on this as enjoyable. Yes. Totally agree. Ridley Scott has really struggled with that. I find, especially the Alien franchise, like watching him trying to capture lightning in the bottom of his
Yes.
Totally agree. Totally agree with all.
You said a lot of good things there. I agree with everything you just said.
Yes to all. And I want to talk more about Ready Player One, but I shouldn't because I haven't seen it. But I did read the book, and I will say this about the book. I didn't read all the book. I read it to a class of students, and read it, and was like, and we didn't get quite to the end, but it read like a movie, a book. I was reading this book, and I was like, oh, you intend this to be a movie, and you can't wait for it to be a movie. Mm-hmm. Like it read almost like a treatment. That's what it felt like I was reading. Where I was like, oh, this is the novel. I need to you need to give me
where's the substance behind the characters
depth and whatever. And I go, cool. I've got the plot beats, and you're telling me how the character feels or whatever. So I'm not trying to, and I'm just giving my, which sucks. Unfortunately, I didn't connect with it. But yeah. So when you say that about the movie, I go, and you go like, I'm sure it's more like that than the book. And I'm like, I don't know.
Interesting.
The book really felt like it was like, here it is.
Yeah.
You can make a movie out of this, and here's the blueprint.
And he's like, guess who should make this? Spielberg.
Yeah.
And Spielberg's like, I would love to do that. He was like, what?
Yeah. Which has got to be. I mean, goodness gracious.
Like, I mean, it's the ultimate form of flattery, but like, I also was like, I mean, he did an incredible job with what was there, which was in a story that I was just like, I just wasn't into the story because I've seen that in too many other iterations. And this was just like, if you take out all the pop culture references, which no one's going to remember in 10 years, like it's going to be a very dated movie pretty soon.
Well, and in the book, at the very least, that was the other thing, is that it really is just kind of like, here's a thin adventure story that is really just kind of, it's sort of
an excuse.
It's sort of like a horror movie strings together kills with like a plot. A porn strings together. I just went there.
Literal
sex scenes with the plot.
Through their butt.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. And then this movie is like, I mean, this book is like, I want to make these references because I really like these things, and I'm gonna plug them in the plot. But the other thing about it was, I was like,
so that's what the book's like, because that's what the movie's like.
Yeah. And the movie, I was reading the book and I was like, oh. The other thing about it is that like these references are just like a little too old for me, to just like barely,
like Joust, or whatever.
And I go,
it was.
huh?
I'm like, I know what that is,
and they go,
because
like,
I watch a lot of YouTube channels about vintage video games and things, but that's the only reason I know that.
Yeah, and they're like, and it's like remember, like War Games or Project X or whatever, and I go, kind of like I know what
reference.
That. Yeah, I was like, I know, like maybe I've seen part of that, and I know what the video cover looks like. It's just all this stuff that it's like, oh, if you were born in like 1975, this is perfect for you.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
what about
just barely,
else?
Barely. Well, and by all, like, and I'm like, cool, go for it. And it seems like what they did with the movie, is they were like, cool, let's just take it and update all the references. And then I go. Well, that loses any of the charm that it had for me, because you're just going like Pikachu, and I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah, it was just a lot. Like, I mean, it was all mostly 80s, 90s.
Oh, okay.
References. Like, I mean, it didn't, and they were like throwing like a Gundam and stuff, which I only have a passing knowledge of. But even then, like, it has a big moment at the end, and I was just like I think it's Gundam fighting Godzilla or something like that, like Mecha Godzilla. And you're like, and he like does the Gundam pose, which again, passing interest in Gundam of what it is, how that world operates, and I was like, that's cool.
Oh, that's cool.
But still, I have to imagine in 25 years that movie's not. You're gonna be like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, it's weird. It's so strange. The pros and I don't know why we're talking about this of all things with this movie, but the pros and RPA was when creating a manual for the film. Exactly. It sort of felt like something designed by a marketing department. Exactly. I just couldn't get through it. I couldn't either.
Has he written anything else? That guy?
Yes,
he's from Austin.
He is, and apparently he drives a DeLorean around, which is
I heard
cool.
that.
And like, I mean, I unfortunately didn't connect with his book, but like, all power to him. Like, what a dream.
Totally.
What
I'm
a
not
dream.
knocking anything. I even, like, I watched it twice and I was like, that's fine.
Yeah.
But, like, it's only because I'm such a film nerd that I was like, it was like a Where's Waldo. I just don't, it's a weird thing where I'm like,
it's like
it's a film because, like, there is a plot, but, like, that's certainly not why I'm watching it.
Yeah.
It's just like they I think they were even on a conscious level. They were like, we know that, and that's 100%. Why we're packing this.
Well, and
with material.
It reminds me sort of Sky Captain. It'd be interesting to like watch those.
I watched Sky Captain recently.
Yeah,
and it does not hold up.
Well, and I remember watching it and kind of going like, I didn't connect with that, but it sure had a whole lot of references to stuff.
It's terrible.
Is it really?
Oh my god! I thought I liked it, and
Yeah.
then I watched it again because they did it on How Did This Get Made, which is a podcast that goes through bad movies, and I was like, what? I thought I liked that, and I watched it, and I was like, oh my god, this is so boring. It's so terribly boring, and this plot is stupid, and the acting is terrible, and it's just like, and this guy, it just seems like a guy who never made a movie before was making this.
Well, it's kind of what happened. I mean, he made a YouTube.
Know.
Yeah, exactly.
I know.
And people were like, "Whoa, cool! That's visually."
And it's just not fun to look at.
There's,
it's all vanilla-y, sepia or gray, and it's just like.
There's an interesting. I don't know. Like I'm kind of like, oh, it's an interesting thing to do for a month, and I go, that's not interesting. Like where you just go like movies that are. Because there was a period, and we may arguably still be in it, but I think it's a little different. There's a period in the early 2000s, or kind of like actually, like early 2000s to like 2010s or whatever, which is what we're still in. But there's a period, where there was this rash of movies where people were like, oh, we can just do a ton of stuff. And it's like, they're like visually, quote unquote, impressive, but there's just nothing where it's like Sky Captain, like The Spirit, like just weird stuff. Like 300 is the Citizen Kane of those movies where I go like.
I enjoyed 300, but.
Well, yeah. And
I absolutely agree.
Yeah. Where I go like. I go 300 and I go like, I know what I'm watching. I sat down, I was like, okay, whatever, and I go, yeah, cool, there's less, fine, whatever. But it is.
I haven't watched it.
It looks the way it is
since I saw it that one time, so I'm sure
it's music video of the movie. That's what these things are, and it's just kind of like, oh, that's an interesting thing to like have as like a 5-minute thing while there's a song playing that's the main event.
Yeah.
But I'm like, there's not a
There's not enough.
Yeah, it's very.
I even kind of felt that way about
Sucker Punch.
Well, for sure. Sucker Punch was. We need to do Sucker Punch. There's
Sucker Punch
actually enough to unpack there on both how that got made and what it was.
Yeah.
It's a movie about rape.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
That's the core plot device of that whole movie. It's like, guess what? Anytime they go into a dreamland, you know what's happening in reality?
That's true.
She's getting R'd. And you're like, huh?
Yeah.
And then what are we making out of this? Like some sort of like really important like movie that dissects like the horrors of rape. It's like, no, we're gonna make her like a pixie mini skirted, and then she's gonna fight a big samurai with a big sword. And you're like, so you like went in the opposite. Do you know what you're doing right now? I don't think you know what you're doing. So what's your name? Zack Snyder? Cool.
Yeah.
Got it.
Here's the deal though. I will say, so I will trash 300 and try to defend Sucker Punch because that's how my brain works for some reason. I will say,
cannot wait for this.
Sucker Punch is The Insider. It's the first 15 minutes of The Insider. No, Sucker Punch. I watched it because I remember people going be like, Sucker Punch is the worst thing imaginable, and then
really bad.
And then I saw it for like $2 and was like, oh, I'm buying this, and I am watching it soon. And then I went home and I also picked up The Guardians of Ga'Hoole for like the same price, which I have not seen.
So you were like, I
need Zack Snyder.
I got all the major Snyders.
Which I don't.
I need to hit some of these minor notes.
I think these were maybe the first Zack Snyder movies I ever owned were Sucker Punch and Guardians of Ga'Hoole, and then BVS, and that's all I own.
God, those are like those are back to back.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and Flash in the Pan, but it's no stir fry. So the Spirit just laughing at. Yeah, Spirit is crazy.
I kind of want to see it.
Spirit, have you not seen it?
No.
You haven't seen it?
No.
It's like Sky Captain fucked Sin City. And then...
Because it's directed by Frank Miller, right?
Yes.
So it's like all Miller.
It's kind of like... Because you go, oh, Frank Miller, Dark Knight Returns. And you go, no.
Times 10.
You go, no, this is Frank Miller, Dark Knight Strikes Again. Which is crazy.
Yeah. Or the Master Race version.
Yeah. Like it is loony, man. It's like, yeah. Parts of it are like,
is there a lot of weird Nazi shit in there?
Probably. Scarlett Johansson. I'm not saying Scarlett Johansson is weird Nazi shit. I think she's dressed up like a.
I feel like he's always just throwing in like the most weird. Like there's always like
fascist something.
Yeah, fascist something.
But like either on the side of good or the side of he's like yay fascism or like no fascism.
Yeah.
And it's like which one, whatever. But like I feel like the movie to me when I think about it, it feels like, you know, in Street Fighter 2 when you're E Honda and you beat someone, and then the background goes whoa, whoa, and it like flashes and goes crazy. That's what the movie is.
Tell me more. Tell me more references.
That's it. That's the whole movie. Samuel L. Jackson is like, he's like a samurai in it.
Do you what? Do you own this movie?
The Spirit.
Yeah.
I do not. But I do own Sucker Punch. Because as I said,
I'm good.
Bought it for $3. Want to talk about it more? That's cool. We're all good about talking about Sucker Punch. So I went in and I was.
By the way, this is not. All this is actually on topic for me because this all correlates to how I felt about this movie, which is, I even enjoyed Sucker Punch on a morbid, completely like disaster level.
Yeah.
YOJIMBO's great, but like these are all like
these are not fair comparisons, but
talking about movies that aim no higher than to be like Indiana Jones is actually the most apt comparison.
I think so too.
Because Indiana Jones is an amazing, great movie. It also doesn't go for anything remotely complex.
Yeah.
And that's I've seen that movie hundreds of times.
Yeah.
Literally hundreds. Like, I mean, and I couldn't sing its praises more. Same thing with YOJIMBO. I was like, finished it. Loved the way it ended. Loved the way it started. Loved all the shit that happened in between. A lot of badass moments. I was just like, I love this movie. This is a great movie. And I was like, why am I feeling like I just got disappointed? And then that was the way you said, was like, you were like, I was kind of had a little lackluster feeling to it. And I think it's just because we started with Seven Samurai. I've been watching all his other like highly acclaimed stuff that's just working on so many levels. So it's just, it's just... It's set out to do a different thing, and he has every right to do that, and I applaud him for it, and I'm glad he did it.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Sucker Punch some more.
So yeah. So we're wrapped it up. Thank you, Kurosawa. Thank you, sir. Now we're going to talk about Zack Snyder's Sucker Punch. My thing with Sucker Punch was I was like, all right, this is the worst movie of all time. Ready. And when I do...
Was that Flood?
When I approach it... Oh, man.
Is that Flood or Amber Alert?
I know, it's an Amber Alert, which is really sad. Yeah, it's a bad situation when you're like, come on, Flood! Be a Flood! No, but I whenever I go into a movie going like, all right, everyone hates it, all right, here we go. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I will find a way to like it. Mm-hmm. But I think the issue that people have with Sucker Punch, and I totally understand, is I was surprised. I was like, okay, it's just like a bunch of like fetishized... Okay, I didn't buy it for that reason. But I was like, just a bunch of there's got to be something else to it. I was like, I remember a trailer where like there was a dinosaur, there was like something like a T-Rex, and they were fighting it with biplanes, and I was like, I'll watch a movie where that ends up happening somehow.
Yeah, totally. That's why I watched it.
And I popped it in, and it was like, and I'm like, okay, and then I'm like, oh, it actually like, no, it actually is like attempting something. It's attempting like what it's trying. Stop it. Like, so it's trying to make it's trying to make this point, like this, there is this very dark undercurrent that like this is what is happening.
He's
when
trying
they're
to
having
do
these
Inception.
flights.
Kind of.
Yeah, but you're right, but there's this abuse undercurrent where it's like this is their out of body experience while they're and it has this very low hum of like definitely sinister. It's also the first time I saw Oscar Isaac, and I was like, he is chewing the crap out of the scenery.
Oh my god!
And it is.
Oh my god! I forgot.
Fine though. I'm enjoying it. I'm like,
I forgot that was Oscar
I'm like,
Isaac.
go for it, man. Go for it.
Oh, he's really chewing the scenes.
He is.
I forgot that was him.
But it's like his it's a little. It's like his Sheriff of Nottingham, except that King John in Robin Hood is his Sheriff of Nottingham. Mm-hmm. But it is that kind of thing where I go, oh, cool, it's this big like broad.
I mean, it fits within
big
what that
theatrical
movie
villain,
is, which is,
But I was like, oh, this is trying for something deeper and trying to actually sort of have this sort of serious undertone to it.
Completely misguided.
And Abby Cornish, she's good, very good performance, I think, from Abby Cornish. Honestly, I like it. And but yeah, then it's kind of like you get to the end of it, and if you described it, especially now, if you described it as like there's this movie and this is whatever, and then these girls are abused, and they've been in terrible situations, and now they're in a terrible situation, and they're abused, and they have these like sort of like flights of fancy to escape whatever. And it's about sexual abuse and the mistreatment of women at the hands of men, and you kind of go, cool. I don't know if white male Zack Snyder is the man to make this movie.
He could be,
Like,
but
if someone else
he's
makes
not
this-
because he made that movie.
Sure.
Like
And
the ideas present in there, it's not the ideas. Like I joke that he centered it all on like Inception, but we'll use rape as the catalyst to get into all these dreams.
That is Oscar Isaac again.
But the fact of the matter is when you watch the movie, he did take probably the most serious subject matter you could possibly take, and then he used it as a catalyst to unironically put young girls in situations where they are scantily clad, glistening to the core, flashing thighs, flashing boobs, the young virgin character
sort of like iconography, yeah.
and then putting them in weird nerdy, like a samurai with a Gatling gun, biplanes, dragons, and none of it it just like I genuinely watched it and I was like, this sounds so pretentiously high horse, but I was like, holy fuck, that was super irresponsible for you to do that.
Yeah.
Like, how did it was literally, I was like, how did this get made? Because I was just like, that if you handled it in the appropriate way of like, if you gave something like that the earnestness that like say something like Winter's Bone had, which is like, giving Jennifer Lawrence this strong female character that's unapologetic about the things she has to do, while dealing with a lot of like weird, very taboo subjects or whatever. Like you could do all that and you could make Sucker Punch and make it a good movie, but it felt super exploitative.
Sure, and that's a because that's a line.
I was just like, they didn't get it. I was like, you can't use that subject matter and then present this type of visual and not be making a comment about that visual, because they didn't make that comment. They were like, boys are gonna love this, girls might think this is empowering, but like it's like, no, this is fucking gross.
I understand. I remember watching it and kind of being surprised at like, I was like, oh, there's more to this.
If you just removed the rape angle, I would have been like, this is still shallow, but it's just like, well, it's the classic male gaze type shit, but whatever. Like, it would have not offended me. It still would have been bad, but it would have offended me as much because they tried to ground it in some. Yeah. Here's what it was. Yeah. It was that guy that you're like, he's got maybe some technical skills, but you're like, he wants to be a deep artist so badly. And so he's using something really rough as a subject matter, and he does not have the skills to follow through. And
I feel a couple of things are at play here. It's again, the last time I saw it was a couple of years ago. For some reason, I don't remember the objectification angle. But I mean, if I think back on it, it's definitely there.
It's all there. It's like the entire centerpiece.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, the whole movie is that.
I don't
literally when they go into like. It's like a video game. Each phase is like when they go into like this is the robot one with the train, or this is the dragon World War I, or this is the samurai Gatling gun. Each phase, someone is getting sexually assaulted. This is written by a guy.
Yeah, I know.
And you're just like, what?
Yeah.
What?
Well, I guess.
And then in that, you're dressing them the way you are and like leering with your camera the way they're doing it. It's just, and like not in any type of ironic or making a statement type way. It's just how you shoot shit.
I think I need to, because again, for some reason, what stuck with me was the dragon part and the biplane stuff and the crazy stuff, and I was kind of like, oh, cool, he's just doing this, like he's doing like this, like what they imagine he's saying is like this this crazy world and blah 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 blah.
And he's masking it as like this is female empowerment.
Right. But I didn't. For some reason, I didn't really remember. Yeah, I guess. And they're so young, and
it's a guy wanting to desperately be deep, and he just doesn't have.
Yeah, that's not cool.
Yeah, and like that's all character posters for the whole movie.
Yeah, I guess for some reason I didn't remember the objectification. That didn't stay with me as much as the other stuff.
It's because he tries to misguide you by being like, we're dealing with a very serious subject.
Well, no.
We're aware.
Yeah.
Because there's the central character has gone through a traumatic sexual assault experience, so we're aware of what we're doing. And I'm like, no, you're fucking not.
Yeah. Because I had that, so I'd have to rewatch it, and that totally makes sense to me. That was not what stuck with me, but that makes 100% sense to me, and I have to rewatch to kind of actually. talk about it in any substantive way. But I felt that way about that movie called The Condemned, which we talked about. It was like Stone Cold Steve Austin. It was like a Running Man thing, and and it was like a bunch of criminals, and then they were like, there are all these criminals on this island.
That's right.
What's the shorthand?
I remember you talking about.
They're like, what's the shorthand to make this guy the worst criminal? He's gonna rape one of the female criminals, and I was like, gosh darn it, don't do that, because this movie is not.
You can't use that as a footnote.
Is not and it's not treating it with the depth. It's just a shortcut, and I was like, you can't do that with sexual assault. And then it happened again, and I was like, not twice. You definitely can't do it twice.
In the same movie.
Yeah. Like, it's just like, goodness gracious, man, you cannot do it.
Because it's such a glaringly, like, the only person who would do that would be a dude.
Yeah.
Who would write that?
Yeah,
be
absolutely.
Like, well, this is a plot device, so we're just gonna get this in and
because
out.
Because that female character ends up is just a very, very, very shorthand tool to kind of establish something about a male character, and it's just like, it's just, man, it's just kind of like, I was like,
it's the most touchy subject matter. Like, I hate getting high and mighty about stuff, but like, when it comes to stuff like that, it's just like, all you have to do is just don't touch it.
Yeah.
Don't touch it unless you're going to do it the service it needs, which is like, if you're going to touch that subject matter, you got to make the whole movie about it, more or less.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or base the entire thing around that thing, which is what they tried to do with
In
Sucker Punch.
Yeah.
It just didn't work with all the other stuff that they was going completely against that message.
And I almost am like, gosh, like, because it's weird, because I'm even like, if they're like, you know, when they show, like, they have movies like Con Air or whatever, and they'll be like, they're showing the dossier or the rap sheet for these felons, and it goes like, burglary, something, something, something. I go, but this is a bad dude. Where is it? And it's like murder, something. Blah. It's like murder, blah, blah, something, something, sexual assault. And there's a part of me that
Danny Trejo, like, his name was something
Johnny 33 or something.
Yeah, because he raped 33 women.
Yeah, and it's like, but at least, like, and I'm saying, like, that's, I don't know. But that movie is so, like, Con Air.
That's still in poor taste, but like,
but it's different because Con Air's a just big, like, stupid blow up movie, which is super fun. I love Con Air. We need to rewatch that.
Yeah, we do.
But
we should do a month on Simon West.
And they did that. Oh yeah, Simon West is whoever, like, I don't.
Him and John Turteltaub are always like, I'm like, you're Brookheimer guys, but like,
I
don't know which ones who did Gone in 60 Seconds, you know? And
Turteltaub,
was
probably.
Turteltaub? Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know, because I'm like, I don't know that name. But that was like, I'm like, Con Air, even Con Air, which is like big, like, it's literally Brookheimer. It's a big testosterone explosion thing. They go, he did this. They don't show it.
Yeah.
Although I think there is like a moment where there's like an imperiled female guard, because he's like, hey, and you're like, oh, I know this about you, but they don't, and it's not like they show a rape in The Condemned.
Yeah.
But they go, it's gonna happen, and they cut away and they go, it's happening right now. And I'm like, no, man.
And even though it's like kind of in poor taste, it's still not.
I mean, like, it's just like, they're like,
there's varying levels of, I mean, that's something that's real, and like, they're on a prison plane. It did not surprise me that I was just like, okay, that's just...
because they're like, all these guys have different rap sheets. Like, it's different. This is, and I even though it doesn't sound different because they're on an island, all these guys have different things that they've done, but they just go, like, it was just such a shorthand, and then they did it, and then they did it again. They had it happen to a character that I was like, and then not only that, it seemed to be positioning itself as a movie that was like trying to kind of take itself seriously, and then at the end they have this very kind of, and again, I said this before, but they have this very kind of pointed shot of like a TV of like the stuff happening, and it had this sort of, I should look it up, but I'm not going to. The very clear message to me was like, you're watching, and it's happening because you're watching. And I was like, well, not at that moment, but just at the end of the movie. And I was like, don't make a media commentary when you were so lazy or so like, we just got a boom that you raped two women. You did that to your character.
If you watch Funny Games, Funny Games does it, and you're like, the characters are literally looking at the camera. Yeah. And the whole statement is, I made a horror movie. I just made it really realistic in like its horror, and I'm also having characters literally talk to camera at certain points.
Yeah.
To let you know that it's just like, you wanted this.
Yeah.
You and the horror genre in general likes getting off on the idea of watching young, pretty people get murdered in the most inventive ways possible.
And that's worth examining. And that is a point definitely worth making. It causes us to think about our fetishization of violence, the extent to which we're inured to it.
Yes.
But this movie was like, here it is,
Yes.
and then at the end it goes, message?
Yeah.
Or at least that's
it's also
how it felt to
here
me.
it is, and also, wasn't that titillating? And then also, here's the message at the end, you're bad for watching this.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
don't try to, it was just really.
I just like Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah, I know.
He makes great movies.
Anyway. What's up, Wolf Rat? So back to Yojimbo. I mean, really, I really, like, here.
Well, let me just, a couple of things that were stand out for me. He walks into this town.
Yes.
And it's two warring gangs.
And there's a great setup.
That are, one's like a sake dealer or sake merchant, and one is a silk merchant. And they're two, like, gang lords, and they're just, like, killing each other. And, like, it's kind of a ghost town because violent. Like, when he walks in, a dog runs past him holding a very realistic looking hand.
Fantastic. What a moment. I mean, that's just the thing.
Great.
He walks in and I wish I hadn't seen the gif of it before I saw the movie. But yeah, he walks in and it's like there's dust blowing all over.
Kurosawa dust.
And he walks into this kind of this western but very eastern ghost town.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa, and then it's just, you go like, how do you know it's a bad place?
There's a dog with a hand.
There's a dog with a hand.
Yeah.
And he goes, and it's like,
yeah. And the music's awesome.
Yeah.
And then he goes in, and the whole movie, and it's very fascinating to watch him. He's a Ronin, a masterless samurai, and the samurai, it's like 1860, and the samurai are basically on their last legs in terms of relevance.
Yeah.
And they really show that through one character having a gun,
right?
And how ineffective that makes the person with a sword.
And also, the Western encroachment and the
Western encroachment, how the town looks like a modern High Noon style, just like Western town. And he gets there, and to show his prowess, he talks to both gang leaders, and he's deciding which ones he wants to side with. But to show that how effective he is, he walks up to one of the disruptive punk kids, like a group of them, like 10 of them, and he just walks up to him and he says something sassy, and then he just pulls out his sword out of nowhere and he just slices 3 dudes, and then he sheathes his sword. It's like almost all one move.
He lops his arm off.
Yeah, and he just goes shing, boom, 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 cuts a guy's hand off, kills 2 dudes, and then and then back in, and then he immediately turns around and walks away. And I literally was sitting there last night, and I said out loud, I was like, that was fucking badass.
And it is, and
it was so badass.
What's awesome about what's uniquely awesome about it is that it's not shot in any way the way it would be shot today.
No,
it's not like cut, unsheath, eye, quit. It is a wide, and he just paddles over to some guy, goes quit. He just goes.
No sound effects,
and then it goes, and his arm just goes, blah, blah, and they do get a very nice dedicated shot on that very lovely, like gelatinous fake arm. It's great. It goes, it bounces.
And that arm, it was great. It was great.
And they really had to sell it there, and they sold it. But it's so great when he does badass stuff. It's like almost like a.
It's usually
it's
like
a wide.
And there's
like
no sound effects. Like, there's no,
and he just goes.
It's all silent.
But what? And it doesn't look. Sorry. And it doesn't look. It's not John Wick. He's not like. There's not effort in it.
It's
he's
impressive
just kind of
because
going
of
like
how unimpressive it looks.
Yeah. And you go like, oh, that's just. It's almost like how he would tell it.
Yeah.
He's just like, I just did that and lopped the guy and killed him. So.
Yeah. And then he just walks back, and you're just like, wow, that was really amazing. Yeah. And you knew it was gonna come. And then after it happened, you're like, that was more satisfying than I expected it to be. That was really, really well done.
And it's great. It's great. 4 words, Spec Ops Line.
And it happens again we'll just jump around. It happens again at the end of the film. He bonds with the local bartender dude of the village, who seems to be the only sane, morally and guy with any type of moral integrity. and he stays with him
The
mainly because
sculptor.
the sculptor. Oh, the sculptor.
Yeah.
I couldn't wait to send him over that cliff. I fucking hate you. You are such a nuisance. I was all wrong about you.
Sorry. I derailed it. Sorry, go ahead.
But like, so, and he stays with him throughout his entire stay at the village, and they kind of have a combative relationship, you know, early on, but they grow to, you know, respect each other. Yeah. And the bartender gets captured at the end, and so Toshiro Mifune's man with no name, or I guess Senjuro,
like prototypical man with no name. Like
yeah,
he's right.
His name's Senjuro.
Senjuro, which is how 30. So it's like I can't remember.
Mulberry Field.
Yeah, 30-year-old Mulberry Field.
Yeah.
And Senjuro is the 30 years old part. I don't know.
I like that though because he was like, but really it's closer to 40.
Yeah.
I was like, that's cool.
There you go.
He's got a lot of good lines in this movie.
Yeah.
Like when he was like, "You can't leave now" or something like that after he's wounded, and he's like crawled back to the bartender, and he's hidden, and then he like, and he's just like, "You can't give up now," and he's like, "You're just gonna leave or something like that." I
can't leave.
He's like, "I can't leave. I've got a lot of killing to do."
Yeah, I got a lot of guys to kill.
I got a lot of guys to kill.
And I'm like,
and I'm just like, that's awesome.
It's great. Yeah, and I love that. I love the old twice. He's like, he comes in. He's like, that was amusing. And he's just like,
yeah.
And it's just like, oh man.
He's so good in it, and it was so fun to watch him. He's like he plays it different. And he's very serious and straight and high and low too. So that was really fun to watch. This is the only other like samurai movie I've seen so far where he plays it like even in Throne of Blood, he's still. Which is great, and he's great in Throne of Blood.
And that's next, baby.
He's amazing in it. I'm looking forward to revisiting it.
I can't wait, yeah.
But this one, he's much more relaxed and not as overtly goofy, which he does so well.
We really am.
But he's not like not a dunce, court gestury type dude. Like you're like, you're a badass.
Yeah, he totally is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm trying to think. Like, it's hard to get into too many plot because there's so much crossing and double crossing and then triple crossing. But essentially, he goes to each gang, offers his services, plays them against each other.
Right.
Then he bows out, so they'll fight. It goes wrong.
Yeah.
Then he goes back and he tries to play them against each other again. And he's like being deceitful this whole time so he can get the best price for his services.
And also
he hates everyone in this town. He's like, they would be better off if they just killed each other.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of the sort of impetus for the whole thing. He wanders into the town. He gets kind of this big exposition dump from this bartender.
Very big.
But it's great because we go, cool. I need to know this.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thank you for telling me the history of this guy. You know.
Yeah.
And I can't remember if we said this yet, but it's like the beginning of this feud was like there was a guy who's in charge, and he left it to his son instead of his right hand man. His right hand man split off. It caused which caused these two factions, and they're fighting. They've just been fighting each other until one kind of sort of essentially lost, and the other guy's a little more dominant. But it sort of destroyed the town a little bit, and it or at least it is a constant reality in the town. And he gets all this information, and he goes, huh. And he's like, well, I was just stopping through, but I guess I'll hang out because all these people suck, and they should all die, and the town should reboot with better people.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting. It's this very kind of like sort of like... Well, almost Lucifer Morningstar, like bring on the apocalypse and let's start
for
over
him, it's just like
the human experiment has failed.
It's perfect because he's just like, I'm gonna make some money, and then some bad people are gonna die, and then maybe I can set some things right here before I move on. But I'm also gonna make a lot of money.
Making just wiping the slate clean. He's the flood.
Yeah. And like so for him it's a win-win. He's like, I'll get rid of some bad dudes, I'll earn some cash, and then I'll be on my way.
Totally.
Woo!
Oh gosh, darn it.
And then I'm trying to think what the next. Oh yeah, and so that's kind of what he's doing for the majority of the film is just trying to play like he's just playing a lot of like
he does it with yeah, exactly.
He's
with
just
puppeteering
the marionettes of these two warring factions.
Totally.
And then at one point though, a woman becomes involved, and he finds out that the woman has been kidnapped from a guy who was a gambler who lost her essentially in a bet.
Right.
To like one of the gang lords, and so his wife got taken away from him, but he still has to live. He lost his house and his wife. And he lives next, and his kid.
His kid is there, and he's like, Mom, where's Mom?
Yeah, he has to take care of his kid in like a shack next door to his former like really nice house. And like the bartender's really like vicious about it. He was like, why? He gets really mad at him, and he says something. He was like, why would anybody have any respect for you when you have to go home every night and look up and watch this gang lord ravish your wife over and over and over? And I was like
that's how he spends his nights, is he like just watches it
happen. And I was like, that is really messed up. And so when Sanjuro finds out about all this, in his one act of kindness in the whole movie is he finds them, he releases them, and then he stages a fight to make it look like the warring faction was responsible for her, just like her getting away.
Yeah, like the 6 dudes guarding her, seven dudes guarding her.
Yeah.
And it's so great. It's really cool.
Scene, yeah.
It's great, and it's such an awesome thing because they're looking for her, and then he goes, what did he say? He's because there's the dumb brother who's like, that guy's crazy and great.
Crazy. And I was like,
super fun.
I was like, this seems racist, but like you are of this ethnicity.
Oh yeah.
But it's it's one of those like Noah type theatrics, like that overtly theatrical performance. Because he's like literally, I'm not going to do it because it would be highly racist. But
it's super fun. I mean,
it's a great. He's one of my favorite characters in the film. Yeah. He's just doing things like intentionally with his face to like gush his teeth out, and I'm just like, yikes.
Yeah. Oh, it's funny. I just thought he was being dumb, or he's just like, like.
Which he is. He's a halfwit.
Yeah. And he convinces. He somehow gets that guy to. I can't remember what it is that he does, but he gets him to go. He's like, run, tell. He goes into the thing where he like peeks in there and sees that there's 6 dudes guarding her, and then he comes out, and one of the guys look around, and he goes, oh, he's like, oh my gosh, go tell your and this is badass. He goes,
so bad.
Go tell your brother, or his brother. He's like, go tell whatever.
Go tell brother. Lord,
Go tell brother that the 7 men in there are dead, and that she got out. And he's like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get in so much trouble. He runs off, and then you go like, huh. And then you realize he hasn't done it yet. And
it's so amazing.
So badass.
The fact that he hasn't, when you realize he hasn't done it, and then he just walks in, and you're like, oh, he's doing it now. Yeah. I was like, that's amazing.
Yeah. He just Babe Ruth called his shot.
He did.
And he 6 man on one murder, and he just boom.
And he just walks right in, and he just slashes the whole place up. He gets rid of the woman.
The one dude runs out, he kills him, and then drags him back in. It's so great. Then he tells it, and then destroys the place inside. Yeah.
And then he like makes it look like it all got framed and stuff. And so he saves this family, and then he gets found out about it, and they capture him. And but in the interim, before he gets captured, the whole town goes to shit because the gang, the one gang who got the girl, who was holding the girl and had it stolen from them. They blame the other gang, and it really, the whole town gets destroyed because of his actions.
And it's so funny because I didn't realize till afterward, like, because then it goes like, that's the thing that ignites the whole retribution,
catalyst,
and there's like, right, because there's gosh, what is it? It's the sake, and what's the other thing? What does the other dude have?
Sake and silk.
The silk. They burn his whole whatever.
They burn the silk. They open up all the sake.
And then they destroy the sake. And he's like, and they're both going like, "Please, I'll do anything. Save my sake. Save my silk."
Takeshi Shimura, like from the main guy from.
Yeah, it's Morgan Freeman. I was watching that. And I was like, "Oh, he snuck around and he burned the silk and he destroyed the sake place."
Yeah,
I thought he did this.
So did I.
And I was like, "Oh, okay." Also, by the way,
I thought that too at first.
This is neither here nor there, but just as Takeshi Shimura is Japanese Morgan Freeman, I finally realized, and this might be more of a stretch, but oh my gosh, what's his name?
Takeshi Shimura.
No.
Toshiro Mifune.
Thank you, Toshiro Mifune. Is Japanese Barry Corbin. You know who Barry Corbin is?
Barry Corbin from...
Not Barry Pepper.
No,
Hold
Who's
on.
the actor Corbin? Oh, I'm thinking of Corbin Bernstein or.
Oh yeah. Hold on. You're not gonna.
Barry Corbin. No, I don't know him.
So I'll have to find a young picture of him.
It's a good name. You think that's
Toshiro Mifune.
Toshiro Mifune?
Yeah. Just looks like him.
Hold that up.
All right. All right. It's okay. You can disagree. For now.
I'll disagree because
Okay. Burn that into your eyes. Burn that into your hearts and souls. Now. Okay.
you think that
Yeah.
looks like Toshiro Mifune.
I do. Hold on.
Your best bet at this point is to just find that same image of that guy.
Look.
Okay, now do them side by side. I need to see these two back to back.
All right. You look up Barry Corbin. I'll
Okay.
look up Toshiro Mifune. Well, I'll just keep this one.
Also, how did you pull
Barry Corbin?
Barry Corbin out of your butt?
Barry Corbin, because he's from Northern Exposure. Hold on. So now he's old to get it. You got to find that one. I'm old. Yeah, they're young. Well, not that young. Hold on. Where's that exact picture? There we go. That's it.
I can kind of see
Okay.
it.
All right. Here. Hold on. Here,
If you really just focus on his eyes and his mouth and
in his face. All right.
they're not gonna get it.
Here. Here.
I can kind of see it, but that photo is really not doing him justice. But what's more amazing to me is that just in the ether of your brain, you're like, oh,
Barry
I know who
Corbin,
that looks
baby.
like. Looks like Barry Corbin.
Anyway.
And then you pulled out this photo that you have framed for some reason, and you're like, I'm right. It's his Wikipedia photo. I forgot I printed it out.
He actually he doesn't because the thing with Shimura is that he's exactly Morgan Freeman, like he acts and just is Morgan Freeman. He's got a little Barry Corbin's got a little Mifune. Mifune's got a little Barry Corbin. It's not an exact match as you might.
You would say that Mifune has a
little Barry Corbin.
A little Barry Corbin. Like I came before him many years.
I watched a lot of Northern Exposure in preparation for YOJIMBO. Yeah, right, exactly. Anyway, now that we've gotten that out of the way.
But anyways, things go south in the town,
Yeah.
and then he gets captured. He gets beat up.
Yes.
And then he has this great escape sequence that I really enjoyed.
Yeah,
That was really fun. I really liked that. I'm such a sucker for like prison escape movies and like just I like watching people hide.
Yeah.
That's a huge, fun, suspenseful thing for me.
Yeah,
you can really not. In fact, I should probably put that in the movie I'm writing because like you cannot screw that up.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's always a win.
Yeah.
That's always a win.
Yeah. Especially hiding in a box.
Yeah, which I
That's
even
carried
loved
out.
as he was writing it, or as I was watching it. I was like, oh, that was smart.
Yeah.
Because I was
They
like,
set
why is that unlocked? And I was like, because he threw him on it. I was like, fuck. I was like, that's good. Okay.
Because he threw him on it?
He threw him on that thing, and then he said, "Don't get blood on my chest" or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
That was John Wayne, but
Yeah.
but whatever.
Who's the American version of?
It was Barry Corbin.
Yeah, very
Let's
good.
be-
Right. Yeah.
But he gets out and he's like all in tatters and he can barely walk.
Yeah.
And the bartender smuggles him out of town and puts him in like a shack out in the woods where he gets some sleep and he rehabilitates. And the really cool moment when he's throwing a piece of, wind kind of rustles through the shack.
And it
Because
blows
there's a bunch of holes,
paper. Yeah.
and like he's got a piece of paper that he just tosses it up, and it swirls around the room. And he's got a knife, and he just flicks it over and over to get better and better.
Yeah.
And he just keeps flicking it at this dancing piece of paper, and he always hits it. And I'm like, God, that was cool.
Yeah.
And then
mean,
when
it's
it
clear-
comes into play
yeah.
at the end, I was like, that's cool.
Yeah. Because he goes.
Yeah.
and gets old.
Because you're
old
wondering,
Gunny McSamurai.
You're wondering how is he gonna handle the gun guy? Because at the end he goes back into the town because he finds out bartender guy got kidnapped, and there's this classic high noon showdown where they're at one end, Shira Mafune's at the other end. So fucking dust and wind is going everywhere. It's the most beautiful shots in the movie. Start walking towards each other with this tick tock sound. It's beautiful. It was like very cinematic, so cool. And then he pulls out the guy with the gun who's had a gun.
What are you gonna do against this?
Yeah, he pulls it out of his bathrobe like this, very menacing like, and he even kind of the gun bends like this and then comes out.
Still a little cold.
And he comes out, and you're like, how is he gonna deal with this? And then when he takes that knife out, he just flings it right at his arm. His arm goes up. He fires off 2 shots. And then he just hacksaws 10 dudes.
Yeah.
And it's awesome.
It is.
And it's awesome in that way where it's like, it's a relative wide shot.
Yeah.
There's no sound effects, not even like a shh. He's just walking around and it just goes.
Just matter of fact.
Just matter of fact, just slicing and dicing dudes.
Like you filmed it on an iPhone.
Yeah.
Just.
It was, but somehow it was
it's great.
more impressive that way because it was so unimpressive.
That's
looking.
exactly what it is. It's just because it is like, the movie isn't going like, look how awesome. It just goes, hey. And then it's more impressive because you kind of go, because I think we
and he's quick about it.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, like it's impressive looking.
That's what I'm saying is we gutturally we kind of on a primal level understand that we are actually watching him do that. That actor can do that and did that, right? Like,
absolutely.
I mean, and so it's that's why wide shot action scenes are because they're not. The impact isn't like, look at this editing. The impact is like, look what happens.
You do not feel manipulated.
Absolutely.
Because you're just like in Old Boy, there's that famous hallway shot where he's just got a hammer and it's just filmed from the side. And he goes through like 13 dudes. And he doesn't do it very well. Like, he gets beaten up a lot during that process. But he kind of manages to get through all of it at the end by just having a hammer. But he gets beat up a lot, and it's not very impressive looking, but the sheer fact that he gets through 13 guys in a very bloody way.
And you feel like you've been through it with him.
And you feel like you've been through it with him. You're like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Yep.
Anyways, he flings the knife, gun goes off, he saves the town, saves the bartender, and right at the end, he like unties them by just like whipping out a sword, and he slices his ropes off, and he sheaths it, and he's like, "See you around."
Yeah.
And he turns around and he leaves, and I was just like, "Please end." And then the end comes up, and I'm like, "Yes!" Like, great way to end it.
Yeah. Very interesting kind of little bit with Bed Bath and Beyond gunman. Sorry. Yeah, he's just sorry. No, he's just because he gets bad, and then he's like, do me a favor, give me my gun. I feel naked without it. And then he's like, don't worry, all the guns are all the bullets are out of it. And then picks it up, and Mifune like doesn't know how to unload a gun.
Yeah,
and just
he doesn't know what a gun is.
He
really,
just goes, all right, here's your little weird sword.
Here you go, popper. Yeah.
Here you go. There, and then it's crazy because he's like, I can't.
Yeah.
And then it goes off, and you go, "Oh, you dirty bastard!"
And what's great about it is how Toshiro Mifune reacts in that moment, because he knows what a gun is, and he points it at him. He smiles, he points at, and he lets him do it. He could have just been like, "No, thank you," and taken the gun. He lets him do it, and he doesn't move.
Right.
And he could have been killed in that moment. And I thought that was, if there was something I was gonna read into, it was probably that moment, because I was just like,
he's not.
Because like
afraid of death, he doesn't have
he's
anything.
not afraid of death.
He just goes, this is it.
And the fact that it's a gun was like maybe a statement on the fact that it's like how obsolete his entire profession could be.
Sure, absolutely.
And how it's kind of up to the gods about, because he literally throws a stick up in the air at the beginning of the movie
and
lets
goes
it
that
land,
way.
and he's like, I guess I'll go this way.
Totally.
And I thought that was a nice moment.
I agree. Right at the top. You're talking about
both moments.
Yeah.
How it bookended the movie, where it's kind of left up to fate as to how things go from there.
Yeah.
And I thought that was cool because he did the stick, and then he could have let the gun could have killed him.
Yeah.
And he probably would have just accepted that.
Yeah.
And not view it as like a cheap shot, but just be like, well, okay.
And then he just kind of goes, all right, that happened. All right,
we'll
move on. Because it is this
Which
thing
again,
where he's like,
badass.
I know.
It's a lot of badass moments.
Yeah. And
it's a badass movie. It's a good movie.
Totally is.
It really is. I'm glad I watched it.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the Throne of Blood, though.
I am too. I'm excited for that.
Blood's
And
awesome.
gosh, what's the last? Oh, High and Low. High and Low. But
So we're not doing Hidden Fortress. I thought we were doing Hidden Fortress next week, but I'm excited because I've seen Throne of Blood. It's amazing, and I haven't seen Hidden Fortress, which means I can watch it tonight.
I kind of want to.
I think we should watch Throne of Blood because it's based off of Macbeth, which you've done.
Yeah.
You did Macbeth, not Hamlet. I said Hamlet earlier.
Yeah.
You did Macbeth. So yeah, this is gonna be cool to see. Get your whole thing on this.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, this is gonna be great. Because it's like it's an interpretation of it.
Sure.
It's not like a direct thing or anything. But like it's awesome. This is great.
So, but I also like, because I know we talked about we talked about what we would do next week, and we've been bandying about ideas, and I've got some. And
next week or next month?
Next month.
Yeah.
But I also like, dude, like part of me is just like, like while we're in a Kurosawa mood, I kind of just want to go and do like Ron and Hidden Fortress and Dreams and what else? Freaking Rashomon. Those
so many.
Those
like
are
Kajimusha.
Hang it!
Kajimusha.
Dang it! I thought I'd be like, I thought I could be like, cool. We got them all. We did 2 weeks, but like we didn't. We just can't.
If we do it, we would have to do Kajimusha and Ran. I still haven't finished
Definitely. Yeah.
Those two.
And I want to do Hidden Fortress.
Super impressive.
And then I want to do Rashomon.
Rashomon's great. And
because that's something different. But Rashomon is one of the is earlier than.
Let's think about it.
Sure.
Because we might want to take a break and then use that as like a month later.
Yeah, based off of
let's think about it.
Yeah, and I'd love to. It'd be great to do Hidden Fortress as well, just because Star Wars. I mean,
that's why I'm so eager to watch it. Because I'm just like,
gosh, and it's so funny to be like, well, like Seven Samurai is so much like Star Wars, and like, well, Hidden Fortress is. I feel like, yeah. I know that we were talking about like just going off completely in a different direction, but
can we just tell them what we were talking about?
Sure. Oh, by all means, several other things. But this one.
Because this one's not going to happen. But we were like, we should really go balls. Well, that's appropriate. Sorry.
See you guys a bit. And we're back.
You ever just make yourself laugh and you're like,
yeah, yes, definitely. Yes. What's up, Squirt?
We were talking about we should just go balls to the wall, and it should be like a crazy month, and like what's something really dumb we could do. And I think I can't remember if it was me or you.
I'm gonna say it was you.
I think it was probably me.
No,
I'm gonna take ownership. No, I was like, what if we do a whole movie about Kevin Bacon's dick? Because he shows it a lot.
Yep.
Let's count the ways.
Yep.
Hollow Man, Wild Things.
Yep.
Those are the only two I can think of. I think he shows it in Stir of Echoes. I'm not positive.
Why? Why would he? Yeah.
And like, it's always weird because I'm like, you did not.
X-Men First Class. There's just like a.
Is he in that?
Yes. He's
what character?
Surprisingly good. He's I can't remember his name. Sebastian.
I love Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon.
A lot.
Oh. Yeah. Sorry. I guess I didn't mean surprisingly good because Kevin Bacon's always good. He's always good.
Yeah, he's always great.
He's one of those dudes where like you go like, this is. There's some actors who like they show up on screen and you go like, oh man, that guy is awesome, like just from whatever. And sometimes they don't end up being as awesome, but they're as they first appear. Kevin Bacon's a guy where I go like, he shows up and I go, where's this confidence coming from? Which sounds really mean, but I just go like, oh, you're not like the classic like badass dude. Like, I mean,
what did you say you looked like?
No, I don't know.
You said.
I don't remember.
You said.
Nah. I didn't mute it for whatever reason. Something probably pretty. He's like. I feel like he could have. Because he was like an animal. I feel like he could have like gone and like played a bunch of nerds or something. But he's like he's a good looking dude.
He's a good looking dude.
And he just has this
got great looking tech.
Real solid, super impressive. Really like
I mean, like,
Girthy.
everybody was like, watch Wild Things. You won't be
Ding-dong.
disappointed. And I was like, I was not.
Yeah.
And they're like, did you like the scene at the pool? And I was like, what are you talking about? I was like 45 minutes later after that when he stepped out of the shower.
Rewind.
Yeah. I was like, guess what? That VHS Blockbuster going to be like, God, what? Like, this part's all, like, the tracking's so off. And I'm like, yeah, you better believe it.
Yeah, they go. Oh, we got another tape of Wild Things that is worn through. Oh yeah, hold on.
You know that must happen.
We'll fix the right. No, it's a different part.
They're like, what? He's like, we have that clip like on standby to splice in. And they're like, I don't know.
You're gonna need to get another. You're gonna need a bigger
sponge,
Kevin
I don't
Bacon
know.
pick. Yeah. And then Hollow Man, which I believe it's just he walks out and it's just
that's a unique one because it's like
the rain and is it rain or a shower?
It's both. It's like he gets out of the pool after killing someone in the pool,
and there's just like glistening,
and it's glistening,
dripping off of
driptic. And then when he's turning invisible, you see it without any skin on.
Oh yeah, muscle dick. Which was it's my
Was
World
that
of
your
Warcraft
nickname?
name. It's not.
What did he look like? Probably really veiny. Just like, it's like I gotta make this guy.
Yeah.
Super testosterone.
And then I bought I farmed enough gold. I don't know how World of Warcraft works. To apply an effect to my character so that he went. Boy, man.
Like a bald head.
Yeah.
Just kind of waving back and forth as he walks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is
I get it.
This is how it sounds when he walks. Okay. Just get into it. What are we doing? Why? We're talking about Kurosawa because we are classy motherfuckers. Oh man.
I thought there was I think he shows it in Stir of Echoes. I thought there was a fourth one.
I thought we were getting back to you.
I feel like I'm gonna look it up right now.
Okay.
Keep talking.
I feel like it's. I'm trying to think of funny ones, and all I can think of is like Sleepers. That's not a funny one to show. Okay.
I've never seen Sleepers.
Yeah.
Is that also about sexual assault?
It is.
Yeah. Kevin Bacon dick movies. Let's see how that goes.
He's like, oh, he's kind of like not kind, and you're like, no, he's kind of an asshole.
He's
no,
in a TV series called I Love Dick. Come on, Kevin Bacon, you're making this too easy, buddy.
That really is true.
It's like, I think it got canceled. That's like all it is
Because people showed up expecting, some fresh out the shower, glistening bacon hog, and they didn't get it.
Would you ever think when right before he does scenes like that, he's like, here comes the bacon.
Really?
Think he does that?
Really hope so. You go, okay, and
I think he does.
okay, we're gonna. Okay, so Kevin, you got the robot. All right, cool. And here goes sound speed. All right, shot. 42 Baker. And here comes the bacon. Action. Did you whisper right into your?
You bet your little penis I did. Here comes the bacon.
It's good. It's good. Here comes the bacon.
Kevin Bacon explains why he's become known for going nude in his roles.
He's like, it's because I shows my dick a lot.
Oh, I think he shows it in his TV show, I Love Dick. Kevin Bacon's no stranger to new seeds, from Wild Things to Hollow Man. Yeah, those are. There's
no from to from. Like in the middle of that is not he said, she said. There we go. Got it. Got the good one.
Kevin Bacon, famous nude moment in 90s serial Wild Things. Yeah, I know that one. No, well.
Give me some new. Give me some new.
Oh, here we go. In the case of I Love Dick, the last scene in the pilot, I go out and I get in the water. It's a beautiful place, a scene of baptism. So he's blah, 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 so that makes a lot of sense for that. So he goes nude in that show. And what's the other movie? I think it's only 2 movies, and then they were just like,
that's too
this
much.
guy's showing his dick all the time from Wild Things to Hollow Man.
Yeah. Runs
anyways,
the gamut from. Yeah.
We are all over the map with this YOJIMBO one, but
We should watch Wild Things. Should watch Wild Things, The Spirit, Sucker Punch, and Throne of Blood.
that would be a dark and weird month if we did like movies that deal with difficult subject matter in a really poor way. That would actually be
man.
There has
Pretty
got
interesting.
to be a shitload of movies like that.
Yep.
I have been very curious to watch that Book of Henry movie because I've heard terrible.
Not Book of Eli. Book of Henry is that?
It's the guy who did Jurassic Park or Jurassic World.
Colin Trevorrow.
Who I fucking hate. Oh
Really?
my god. Fuck that guy.
Did you see
I heard
Safety Not Guaranteed?
Yes.
Is it good?
It is good.
Okay, that's good.
It's perfectly serviceable. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. But I was like, you hit all the beats of a normal storyline. And I can see why Hollywood picked you up immediately. Because you fit into that mold. And then he made Jurassic World, and I was like...
Jeff Wright, just right on the cover. Well, okay. Yeah, go ahead. He made Jurassic World, yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that. And then he wrote the sequel, which... Did you watch Jurassic World too?
No.
It's something we should review on here because it's that level of bad. It's awesome. It's awesome how terrible that movie is.
Well, back up. I haven't seen Wild Things in like 2 decades. What's problematic in that? Never mind thinking of the wrong movie. You thinking of The Wild Bunch? Wild at Heart? What were you thinking of?
Wasn't there a movie called Wild Thing with like JTT? Whoa.
Wait.
Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
Yeah, JT Squared. That is Wild America.
Oh, who else is in that? Kevin Sawa?
Devin Sawa.
Kevin Sawa?
Devin.
Sorry, I got Kevin on the brain. My dick brain.
We should do a Devin Sawa month where we watch Idle Hands.
Oh, I love Idle Hands.
I love Idle Hands too.
Jessica Alba.
Yeah, that was the first time I was like, who's this?
Yeah, she was a babe in that movie.
Yeah. Anyway, but back to objectification. And,
that's a good movie.
It's a good movie. I really like it.
I remember growing up, a lot of people were like, you look like Devin Sawa. And I was like, it's an insult. And then I saw a Devin Sawa movie, and I was like, he got Jessica Alba.
He did.
Like, that's cool.
Yeah. If there's a... I don't think... You don't probably know who this person is. If there's a soda poppin' movie, Devin Sawa needs to play him. But like Devin Sawa in 1997. Anyway. I was thinking of Wild America for some reason. Trying to remember the crazy bear thing in that. And was like, wait, is that animal abuse or something? No, the bear just shows his deer. He just goes, here comes the bacon. And they go, is that... Did someone...
It's industry wide.
Who's in the... Is that Kevin Bacon in a bear suit?
It's like calling somebody a best boy. You're just like, here comes the bacon. And, you know, it's a bacon shot, which is
a deer.
A deal.
A deer.
We're going to call the bosses down to the set so we can get this bacon shot.
Hey, you want a Hollywood in there? You want to audition that doc for me? Yeah, bro. Yeah. And they're like...
What's this movie for? It's called Wild America.
Go ahead, please.
Okay. I was doing the math,
and
I was like, I think they're all underage. I'm gonna stop.
Yeah, that's true. Did that bear just say, "Here comes the"? Did it? Is there a zipper on the back? And they unzip, and it's Kevin Bacon. And they go, "What are you doing in the bear suit? Where's the real bear?" And he's like, "The bear was gonna do the dick shot, but I showed him mine, and it was like, you go ahead, bro." Because you got a lot more to deal with.
Also, I have a problem.
Yeah.
And the only fix is more bacon.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
What are we going to do next month for real, though?
Dick month. It's Kevin Bacon, Eastern Promises.
Like only
film.
dicks, like dicks, full frontal, but only like if they're swinging.
Yeah, yeah, like in the middle.
Which is like we would do Eastern Promises, then 2 other movies, and then end with Eastern Promises again.
And then just like a gif of
Tweedly. That's going on in the background.
Tweedly Peter fight. Yeah, womp womp womp, bing bong, bing bong bong. Yeah, we're. I believe Diving Bell and Butterfly has a Tweedly Peener, and then we could have a filmed stage version of Equus with Daniel Radcliffe in it.
Harry Potter did bacon.
Harry Potter. We saw the stage version of Equus with Harry Potter swinging that dong, and then that same year. So that same year, I think we saw Eastern Promises, Diving Bell and the Butterfly. Both of them had Tweedly Peeners. saw Daniel Radcliffe in
live.
live in Equus, with his and then I think either that same year, very very close to it, we saw Ian McKellen in King Lear, and they should have called it King Leer because he comes out at a point where he's gone insane in the play and divests himself of his clothes, and that dude, my goodness, that dude's got a party-sized burrito. It is crazy. We were up. I'm not trying to.
Sir Ian McKellen.
Sir Ian McKellen. They knighted him twice. First here, and then he's like, I believe, Charles, you should take a peek down there.
This one's gonna need its own knighthood.
Yes. OBE. You know what I mean. Like, what? OBE.
Ian? I'm sorry. It's Sean. I like showing it off.
Yeah, he goes, oh, it's Ian. This is Sean. Yes, this whole time.
That's right. I've had a whole successful Hollywood career. This is James Bond.
I'm on Her Majesty's Secret Service. I don't know. There's just everything's don't talk
Where are the women? Because I gotta beat them.
Oh.
Look, he only does it when they get out of line.
Gosh darn it!
I brought my own sword for
the
knighting.
Oh gosh! And then he just goes, "Here, would you like? Here, we'll knight you. We'll knight everyone. No, you don't have to get
like
any closer."
Holy water.
He goes,
"That's right. The
Flop.
power of."
"You don't want to move back." Now I'm doing.
He was like, I was up for The Exorcist. I was gonna play Father Marin, but I wanted to improvise. Billy wasn't into it.
He offered me a part in Cruising, but
I turned that gay shit
down. No, I can't. Yeah, okay, we can't. Yeah, we can't. Yeah,
All right.
Because no. We just keep. Yeah, Sean Connery's a dark road. We can't be like, I'm gonna be Sean Connery.
I love Cruising.
Yeah, I know. Cruising is fantastic. He goes, if I were in it, you'd have to call it Cruising for a Bruising, because I caused. Oh my gosh.
What's fun about doing his voice is he has no morals. Or at least his morals are stuck firmly in like 1948.
Which, like, at one point in 1948, that was still not great. But
yeah, I think he had a reputation like on Dr. No as being like,
and they're like,
that dude likes to hit women.
We are making James Bond, and you're gonna need to tone it down. Your misogyny and the treatment of women as chattel is, I don't know. It's just not gonna. It's not gonna fly in this cartoonish spy movie.
He's like, I'm sorry, you had a skirt on. I wasn't listening.
Yeah.
You're like, whoa!
Yeah. Hey, Sean.
I can't help it.
Shut up, Marnie. Wait a second. Wait, what? That was
I was distracted. I forgot you were wearing a kilt. I see them and I go nuts.
I can't be held responsible for my action. You can, and will be. Anyway, Sir Ian McKellen is a giant monster hog.
Oh yeah.
It had like an elbow. Like it was like gosh darn it.
Really?
Yeah, man. Like it's like that. Like it's like when you go through the.
Yeah. Was there a moment on stage like when an actor? I've never seen that on like live, like a theater. So like when a moment like that happens, does he pause for just a second to be like?
He just goes, ah! And the other actor's like, gosh, dang it, it's like a Labrador tail. Goodness, it's just a thump.
It's all about the performance. It's all about the performance.
That's why I've been doing it. Well, I don't know where I am in terms of Charles.
You're in Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
Zardos.
Charles.
Ian shows up on set. He's like, that red diaper wouldn't hold me in. Wait, that was Sean.
It's Sean talking to Ian. Yeah. And And he just and then Ian just throws it around his neck, and he's like that character in Star Wars with the yeah, and they go.
You're like, what? He's like, sorry, that's my.
Yeah. It's got a mic. It's got a map. Charles.
That's how you reset.
That's
your reset.
that's it.
Charles.
Charles. You shall not. Help me think of it.
I've got a rude awakening for it. You think he's acting opposite Patrick Stewart that whole time?
It is.
False. That's his penis.
With a little face.
In a suit.
Little face painted on it.
In a wheelchair.
Engage.
He's like, it doesn't have legs. We got to put it in something.
Professor X, that's perfect. Why is it still Terrible Connery instead of Terrible Ian McKellen? Why can't I get back to that? Yes. Charles. Join us.
You guys
There's no one standing.
The only person who gets me here is John Borman. I'll tell you that much right now, goddammit.
That friendship makes so much sense now. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Your move. It's like a.
That's so gross.
It's like the thing in Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
Star Trek: The Next Generation. Yeah.
I started getting into Star Trek Next Generation, and I just love it. And then I stopped watching. I need to get back in because I'm still on season 2, and I heard it doesn't like. It's real goofy, and I heard it gets like legitimately good, like from 3 on or 4 on.
Huh.
But I heard it was I just thought it was good from the get-go, and it's like really, really goofy. And I was surprised at how goofy Patrick Stewart is. Because I remember just catching episodes, like later seasons as a teenager. When just having him on in the background and really never paying much attention. But I always thought he was Patrick Stewart. Like distinguished Patrick Stewart,
Captain
and he's
Jean-Luc
really
Picard.
goofy in those first 2 seasons.
Really?
Yeah, like and then I'm like, and I never seen him in that light before.
Open this can of peanuts.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
He's like, it's me.
It's
I'm
Ian
already
McKellen.
penis, so I don't know. Ian.
Yeah. He's not here. He's in Sussex, but his penis reaches all the way because he's huge. I don't know. Why is this? I'm not sure. I have to go, so I can't do it, Jean-Luc, but I go, Captain Jean-Luc Picard of the USS Enterprise. But no, that turns into...
That's actually pretty... You're in the ballpark.
Captain
Do your
Jean-Luc
Ian.
Picard.
What's your Ian sound like?
Charles.
Yeah. You say he's your Charles.
You shall not
What is he... What are
pass.
some other Gandalf lines? Oh, we should be...
Let's see, why are we making so many of these?
So you're just doing essentially... Because Sean Connery's supposed to be Gandalf. And then he was like, I don't know what to make of this bloody nonsense.
Is that true?
Yeah.
That is true?
Oh, they paid him they were going to give him an enormous paycheck. And, like, a significant back end.
What are you holding? There.
Ian McKellen's
Back end? Yeah.
Like, they were
significant back end.
He was going to get, like, a lot. He would have made, I think because they did the math on it, like, if he had agreed to the deal that they offered him, he would have made, like, $90 million.
He just thought back end meant something else. And so he was like, I get the back end. And they go, no.
He's like, I always get the back end.
That's Chris.
Contract or not.
It's not even a question. I was in a movie called Octa. All right, read out here. You thought Gandalf was using a staff? Wrong. Yeah, I don't know how we've gotten here, but the Deep Space Nine rewatch, it was so dark for that universe is sweet. Yeah. I can't. Hold on a second though. What the crap?
Yeah,
Sean Connery
I
is
think he was
Gandalf?
offered like crazy. I want to say $20 million, but I think that might be overdoing it. But he was offered. I don't like if. But he was like, I don't get it. I think it's dumb, and I don't want to do it. And he was like already kind of semi-retired, and they were like, come back out, it'll be worth it, we promise you. This is like a storied character. He was like, I don't know, what the elves and orgs and walking tree people? And he was like, I don't, because I mean, he was signing up for 3 movies because they filmed them all together.
Fair point.
And he was like, nah, you want to be spending like a year and a half and doing this? No. So he said no, but yeah, they did the math later, and had he said yes, he would have made an enormous amount of money, like an enormous amount.
Yeah. That's crazy.
It would have been really. I think he would have been awesome.
Yeah.
But Ian McKellen is Gandalf now, so.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way for him not to be. He's amazing in it. Like, truly.
There's a scene from from that version that got made.
Oh, there is?
Yeah.
Oh. Do you have it with you?
It's a piece of crap. Yeah, and it's Elijah Wood, and he goes, Gandalf, hold on, Gandalf, look at me, Gandalf, and he goes, but where's the ring? And he goes, oh, hold on, just a second. And he goes, I was using it for something else. It's 6 sizes bigger now. Didn't know I could do it, huh? Oh, that Cerulean script is ribbed for her plah! Ah!
I'm like 600 years old.
All
All right.
right.
I've got to get it on somehow.
I didn't the trees walk. I fucked a rock because I didn't know what else was going. I thought maybe.
You guys are going on your adventures all the time.
Yeah.
I'm stuck here with these eagles.
Well,
2 and 2 makes 4, and I'm gonna fuck this eagle.
That's what I do. Now come here. You're at the right height. Come over here. Cover up those hairy feet. Hi, man.
Bilbo was okay with it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Why
do they call?
We need more weed to give to the little ones.
That's right. Come show me why they call you Bilbo. It's not a...
There's nothing to his voice.
Yes.
It's so fun to do.
Are your teeth, do they stay that sharp? Because I have to be very... What is...
I'm just trying to think of more inappropriate things to say now.
Baited Anthony Hopkins. I wish I could do Anthony Hopkins.
Anthony Hopkins is great. I feel like he's so internal with most of his stuff that it wouldn't... he doesn't have the necessary warmth that Ian McKellen has.
No, not at all.
And Sean Connery has none of one. It would have just been filled with hate and misogyny. It's your character, Josh.
Wait, but you can't... If it's always the same character choice, why just go home and fuck the prom queen? I know, we saw it! We saw it!
That's something I say in all my movies.
Hey, Jay. Yeah.
Michael was the only one crazy enough to put it in there. Oh, I'll tell you that much. Even John Borman would do that.
Wait, so that wasn't the script? No, I just say it while I'm filling out paperwork.
I didn't even know we were rolling.
I look right at a female PA and just say it. Works for me. Goodness. When do we cross the... It was about an hour ago.
Oh, it's definitely an hour ago.
Okay.
How often does that work?
Hey, Jenny.
95% of the time. And the other 5%, it still works.
What? Define work. I go to jail.
Because I'm so rich and famous, I get off.
It doesn't matter. So, yes. I think Anthony Hopkins would have been like, throw the ring in, Bilbo. Throw it in.
Always.
Yeah. That's right. I'm inhaling on... I can't do it. Anthony Hopkins. Dang it. But then he goes, throw it in.
Do him in... What's Brad Pitt's character in Meet Joe Black?
Wait. What's Brad Pitt's character?
What's his name?
Joe Black. Wait.
That was a genuine question. It was a genuine question. And then as I was staring at your face, I said, oh, it's Joe Black. And then you said, it's Joe Black. And I was like, I know. And I feel stupid.
No reason to. No reason to. Oh, isn't he dead? He is dead.
We watched, Kelsey and I watched that recently because I kept listening to the sound. It's one of the best Thomas Newman soundtracks he ever did, and I kept listening to it over and over and over. And she was like, "Where is this from? It's beautiful. Stop playing it." And I was like, "Have you not seen Meet Joe Black?" I was like, "It's awesome."
Yeah.
And then it got semi-popular for a second, like. It became a meme on Twitter because of the car wreck.
There's 6 seconds of Meet Joe Black that you need to watch.
Yeah, and so we watched it because you could stream it on, I think, Netflix or maybe Hulu, but we watched it, and yeah, that movie sucks. Like, it's not a good movie.
Yeah, I mean,
and it's beautiful. It's one of the most. I was so distracted by how well made it was. That's Chivo. That's Lubeski. Before
wow.
Lubeski was known as Lubeski.
Right.
Like, it is so beautiful and so well made. But it looks
It looks
so
like a magazine cover.
Yeah, it does. It just looks like Better Home and Gardens.
It looks like Us Weekly or something.
Yeah, and it's just everyone's making, like, Brad Pitt is just making goofy choices. Also, hot take. You see the trailer for Ad Astra?
Oh, sure.
Is that Brad Pitt?
I don't know what it looked like. Did it look like Brad Pitt?
It did. It looked like Calabasas guy.
Basically the same thing. I need to watch the Ad Astra trailer. I watched part of it without.
It looks good. I think I'm more excited. I think it's an okay trailer, but I think
I got a little space fatigue.
Yeah, I'm excited because it's James Gray, who did The Immigrant and Lost City of Z. So I think it's gonna be good. I was such a hardcore proponent of Brad Pitt when he hit like 40 and he did Jesse James and then Babel and like a string of things where I was like, oh my god, he's always been like had the capability to be a great actor.
Yeah,
I just never felt like he hit it. And then he hit it. And now I feel like he's like post Inglourious Bastards, he's doing a variation on that in every movie he does, including this, at least from the trailer. Yeah. It looks like the same thing. Sure. And I'm like, and it's kind of coming off as just like, a lot of this just seems kind of goofy. Anyways.
No, yeah,
Still like them.
Yeah, no, definitely. Honestly, it'd be interesting to do a Brad Pitt month where it's like.
I could do a Brad Pitt month next month because he's in a lot of my favorite movies.
Totally, and it's like the not that Brad Pitt, like the other. You know, it's like Jesse James and honestly Moneyball, even though that's not because it's such a great. I just love that movie so much. Any excuse to watch that movie.
I mean, we could do that. We could do a Bennett Miller month. I mean,
Bennett Miller. We can do Bennett Miller. That's true. So we need to do Bennett Miller. Oh man,
it'd be fun to do Bennett Miller.
Yuri Gagarin. Wait, what? I want a movie about the USSR. Oh, absolutely. Well, it's called Armageddon. So you just want a second one.
Boom. Rust.
No, sorry.
Say that in Sean Connery's voice.
See enough. You just want Armageddon. Yes, I believe there's a Russian chap in there. A few ladies too. Ben Affleck's pretty like a lady.
You know what my favorite scene was? It was the graham cracker scene.
The gazelle stalks its prey.
Yeah. Oh no, who's this?
That's what he says. He does an Australian accent.
Oh, does he?
Akash and I like all the time, like very, very frequently, quote to each other. We go, "I hope so," because otherwise, what are we fighting for? Which is the end of that scene. He goes, "Do you think?" She goes, "Baby, do you think somewhere two people, somewhere in this crazy world, not crazy world, but two people are doing the same thing we're doing, which is using little animal crackers to pretend that her stomach is the Serengeti."
Yeah.
And he goes, "I hope so, because otherwise, what are we fighting for?" But it's great. It's true. It's true. Open your heart, though.
I'm crying right now.
Can we do a Mel Brooks month? Oh, yeah, that'd be amazing. I'd love to do that.
I'm not versed in Mel Brooks. Like, I have seen Young Frankenstein, and I love Young Frankenstein, and that's really the only one I haven't seen. I have not seen. What's the Western one?
Blazing Saddles.
I've not seen.
Because we'd have to do like Spaceballs, History of the World.
Saw Spaceballs. I don't like Spaceballs. I just don't like it.
Oh.
What is it that is so appealing?
I don't know.
Like, it's really
Spaceballs
dumb.
is the reason. Is the only. I got sent to the principal's office once in my life, and it was because of Spaceballs.
Because you said Spaceballs, and you're like, balls.
I went Spaceballs. No, Blazing Saddles. Just respect me to pump. Nah, he'll get up there. Do Connor again. More Connor.
I hate Spaceballs.
There you go. There you go. I prefer more grounded balls.
If you want some Spaceballs, check out my movie Space Cowboys. Wait.
Is he?
No, he's not in it.
Yeah, that would be great.
Oh, that would have been great.
It's just East was going, "Hey, so we're gonna get." really good Eastwood, right?
Have you seen that? I've never seen it.
Tommy Lee Jones.
I kind of want to see it because what a crazy premise.
Just watch the.
To do it, it's like any space movie can't be cheap to make.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
And it's just like, but we're gonna do the old dogs of space movies,
Yeah.
and you're like, yeah, you are.
Yeah, that's what we should watch: is Space Cowboys, Old Dogs.
There's a one with Robert De Niro
The last-
and
the
Pacino
la-
when
yeah.
they go to Vegas.
Yeah, the last
think
resort
Walken.
or the
Yeah,
last something.
something like that.
Walken's in it. Gosh,
It's like
it's just so sad. Like Morgan Freeman, I think is in it.
yeah.
And Michael Caine maybe.
Oh my god.
It's so sad. You
That
go
is
like,
so
oh,
sad.
don't do that.
I guarantee you it's not. The reason I don't like just be like, why would they do that? Is because they were like, oh fuck, yeah, I've been wanting to hang out with Al for a while. Chris is gonna be there.
Yeah.
Great, Morgan.
Yeah.
I've never even met him, but he seems like a cool dude. Let's all, and we're gonna get to hang out for 3 months in Vegas. You're gonna pay how much? You're gonna pay us how much?
Yeah.
Sold. That was my Robert De Niro, by the way.
Oh yeah, yeah. What? Dude, what? Yeah, that's their Rat Pack. And then what? And then we could bucket list. And but that's just
yeah.
2 old dudes. And then
Bucket list. Was that Jack Nicholson's last movie? I desperately want him to do just one more. I think that was his last movie. I want him to find something and do it with like, I don't know, just a really interesting director,
Well. and
and just do one more movie like an About Schmidt.
Yeah.
Like if he had ended on About Schmidt, I would have been like,
that's
great.
just nice.
That's a great one to end on.
Interstellar. Interstellar's great. Interstellar's fantastic. What do you dislike about Spaceballs? I'm curious what your critiques are now. What's your problem? What's wrong with you? Bill Pullman? Don't like flying Winnebagos?
I love Bill Pullman.
Cool.
I just didn't like. Star Wars was like my whole childhood, and so I think because I was so like I had books, like I did all of it. I like read the novelizations that were not great, but like like oh, this one takes place on a Wookiee planet, and I was like, yep. And like I had all the toys, and like
You dumb idiot.
you God damn it.
Hey, remember the little furry thing you saw one time? Yeah, you remember a book about it, you fucking weird.
I was like, this seems condescending, but whatever. I mean, it was just like it was a big integral part of my childhood, and then I watched the movie way later, like 1920, and I was just like, it just seemed really.
If you watch it
late. I just didn't think it was like I watched Young Frankenstein. I was like, that's fucking sharp. That's sharp comedy.
Yeah.
From what I've seen of Blazing Saddles, I was like, that's sharp. Like, it's deconstructing a genre and all the things that went in of that time period as well. I was like, that's sharp. The Star Wars one, I was just like, this seems real fucking obvious and really lame. Like, I just didn't think it was very funny because I'm just like, okay, he's got a big helmet.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
And it's a van.
Wow.
And he's a dog.
You're hitting them.
And like, look, I love John Candy.
You're getting them all.
I love him.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I didn't, like, none of it landed for me at all.
Spaceballs was not. Yes, fair point. I would be surprised if it wasn't the case. I'm fairly sure I watched Spaceballs more times than Star Wars when I was a kid.
So I mean,
by a
that would
sizable
make
margin.
so much more sense that if that's what not only your integration, but like your preference, and that's what you watch as a kid. Sure.
That's how I turned out the way I am.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
You had a great Sean Connery impression.
Yes. We
You were alive in 1920. Yeah, that's right. Not 19 or 20. I'm like 100. I'm 80,
You're as
90
old
years old.
as Ian McKellen's dick. We should watch it. There's a couple. He's got a couple of those, like History of War Part 1. Have you seen that?
Mm-mm.
That has some good stuff in it. There's Silent Movie, which I've never seen. It's High Anxiety, which I've heard is not good, but Silent Movie is a parody of silent movies. High Anxiety is a Hitchcock parody. It's interesting. I don't know. I want to do a Zucker this month. Anyway, whatever, because that's Airplane, Hot Shots.
Didn't Mel Brooks do
Top
like
Secret.
a Dracula one though with Leslie
Dead and
Nielsen?
Loving It. Yeah, we have to cut it off like before Robin Hood.
Oh, I love Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Oh.
I do. But then I saw that in theaters as a kid, and I was like, that's hilarious because I had never seen. So this is probably what it is. You're supposed to watch that shit because I had never seen. I went in thinking, I was like, this is gonna be like Prince of Thieves, and then you watch it, and I'm like, they're wearing sunglasses. There's a rap, and I was like, this is the best movie. It was like reading. Do you remember that book, Stinky Cheese Man?
No.
Oh. About.
Well, little Ian came up to play. I remember Stinky Cheese Man. I don't know who that is.
That's Michael Caine.
Do you remember? I think I'm a penis.
Oh man, I should bring that over because I bought it like as an adult because I love it. Man? Yeah, it's so good. Like it's really, it takes the Mother Goose stories, you know, like the gingerbread man, and like the sky is falling and all that stuff. But it's a satirical ironic breakdown of each story.
It's about time someone put Mother Goose in their place.
It's so good, and like the artwork and how they do that, because like you open the first page and there's like a little guy there, and the table of contents are falling off the page, and he's like, sorry. The table of contents are supposed to be here, but so and so didn't put the eggs in the batter, blah blah blah.
That's
and
funny.
It just starts, and it's like that the whole.
And you go, oh, this is on my level.
It is. It's because you just as a kid, you're so used to a book being a book. So when you have a character literally talking to you, and like the table of contents are literally falling off the page, you're just like, that's cool. And the whole book is like that. Yeah. I'm gonna bring that over for her. I think she would really like that.
Okay, yeah, we'll watch it and we'll look at it. I'll bet you go back and look at it. It's written by Christopher Nolan.
Oh, it is. Did you not know that?
Robin is every bit as on the nose as Spaceballs is. Yeah. I feel like we would do four Mel Brooks movies and watch them all, and then we get to Blazing Saddles week, and we would go, cool. Here's our review.
Did you have one in the chamber?
No, we would just be like, that's what we would be the whole time.
Yeah, just waiting for one.
No, we would just go, I can't Blazing Saddles. I'm just cringing. Because it's wall-to-wall racist.
Of the words.
Oh, yeah.
But is it racist or is it it's showing
it's
what
one of those.
racism?
It's like one of those Archie Bunker things where it's like, but still. I remember seeing a thing back a while back where people were like, hey, we're going to have quote-alongs of Blazing Saddles. And they were like, no, that's a terrible idea because dudes are going to be like, I know what that means. I can come to a theater and scream that word and there's no...
Oh, that's interesting. That's a real thing that they have...
No, I think I looked it up or something. I don't know. Or somehow, I don't know how this happened, but it was Huck Finn is racist. Sure, absolutely. Yes, although...
Didn't they make them...
It's been a while since I've seen Blazing... What's that?
Didn't they make them take... They have to replace Inward Jim with... I think they just named him Jim in new copies of Huck Finn. Or at least that was a strong petition trying to be passed. Oh my god! And I was like...
It drives me crazy when people are like, yeah, because Huckleberry Finn has been banned for being racist, and I'm just like, gosh darn it. Although here's the angle of this I do understand. If you're like in 6th grade or something, and you're reading it as a class, and you were a black kid or you're an African American person like in a class, that is a that's a stressful.
Here's the solution though. I completely understand it.
Totally,
I agree with it.
Yeah.
Don't have
book,
so a 6th grader read that.
Yeah, exactly.
What are you talking about?
Yeah. I also
don't teach that in schools.
I guess
it has it in it. You shouldn't take it out.
Yeah.
It's a piece of
don't ever take it out.
It's a piece of literature. It has a point
needs to be written.
To be in there.
It needs to be read. It's a fantastic.
It's a fantastic.
It's beautiful.
It is
human. Yeah, it's great.
And like there's purpose behind like it's fucking Mark Twain. There's a purpose behind what he's doing.
Absolutely.
But the fact I understand the complaints. The solution is very easy. Do not read that book in schools.
Or like or not allowed.
Not allowed on like as part of the reading list.
Yeah.
It's just a real simple thing because that's too controversial a thing, and it would have.
I think it should be on the reading list.
But it has that effect.
I'm just saying, don't read it aloud to. Yeah. But because the other thing.
But it does though, because like just the way you described it is perfectly apt.
Yeah.
And it's perfectly put.
But the other thing is, but then couldn't you make the same argument? Because I'm going back on myself now. Because can you make the same argument about like, well, we're not going to study slavery. We're not going to study the Civil War. We're not going to do that part of the Civil War in history class. Because, I mean, that's like.
No, I don't agree with that.
Okay.
I think you're able to talk about that at least without. It's because because the book is so good and because it's so human that when you come across a character like that with such a word associated with it in terms of its actual name, essentially,
right.
It works on a different emotional level, I feel like.
Yeah.
And then you're like, wait, what? And then I just feel like there's better books, less controversial in terms of just, it's not a controversial book except for that one thing. And I'm just like, if that's such a thing and the options are replace it or change the book so it doesn't have
No, that's ridiculous.
Then go with the former and then find a better book like, fucking Raisin in the Sun. You know what I mean? Like something of equal literary value.
Well, I think Huckleberry Finn is just such a, I mean, it's such a, gosh darn it. Like, we talked about Huckleberry Finn a couple of times for some reason on stream, and every time I try to describe how I feel about it and why, I like end up crying because it's just beautiful, and it is.
I need to revisit some. I need to just
Mark Twain is
in general more, but
Mark Twain and Ambrose Bierce are my favorite writers of all time. All time.
Who's the second one?
Ambrose Bierce, who is like Mark Twain, but sharper and darker.
Whoa!
Fantastic.
What has he?
So
she?
He was a guy. He was a writer in the Civil War. I guess his famous thing is a short story called "An Occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge," but he has written. There's a collection of short stories that I freaking have bought twice and then lost again. It's beautiful. I freaking love it so much. His stories are divided into Civil War stories, horror stories, stories of war, stories of horror, and tall tales. And the stories he was a map maker in the Civil War. Sorry. And that was his job. He would be with the army, and he would watch the carnage, and then he would after that be in charge of kind of going like, we moved an inch on the map, and like there are all these dead bodies, and this is that's the result of this. And he saw such terrible, horrible things. And the Civil War obviously is like a effing nightmare.
Yeah.
For on a number of levels. And so based on that, he came back, and then he came back for more and started writing for newspapers and stuff, and became known as a satirist and an essayist. And they called him Bitter Bierce. He's very kind of sharp-tongued, and he's hilarious and so dark. He's got a story called Chickamauga, which is it's kind of maybe an odd name, but it's a Civil War battlefield, and it's technically a war story. But it's the most horrifying, like viscerally, like kind of horrifying story I've ever read. It's like 2-3 pages. I'm gonna send it to you.
Send it to me.
Yeah, it's great.
I'm very curious.
But so he's got that aspect. He's got horror stories that are very scary and twisty. He does a lot of twists. He has a lot of ghost stories. And then on the tall tale side, he just has these ridiculous, like the most ridiculous. Like there's a story called My Favorite Murder. There's a story, and it's like I think it starts out. The first line is like, having murdered my uncle under extreme circumstances or something, I was arrested and put upon my trial, and he was like, and the lawyer was arguing that I murdered my uncle in a grotesque and inhuman way, and my contention was that if he knew the way in which I had murdered my parents, he would detect in my murder of my uncle nothing but extreme human consideration for the victim as compared to that, and then I told them the following story, and the court had no recourse but to completely agree with me and exonerate me of all charges. Anyway, it's just great. That's awesome, he's got these crazy. That's not doing it justice. He's got these crazy stories that are really really funny and really really dark. He deals with parent murder a lot for whatever reason. There's a story called. Well, then the other thing he's famous for is something called the Devil's Dictionary, which sounds like a book of the occult or something, but it's what it is it's a dictionary where all the definitions are sarcastic, and they're really funny. And I'm going to look one up right now. And
Send me all his stuff.
Yeah. I have like a list. I have like a list of 5 stories.
I'm like trying to come up with like really dark moral scenarios right now for my film, and I came up with a really good one today. But I'm always looking for more inspiration as jumping off points. The use of Huck Finn highlights racism's insidiousness. It's so casually thrown around that people in Jim's position are subhuman. It permeates. Yep.
Well, and the key, the crux of Huck Finn is when Huck has to make the decision to either turn him in or not turn him in, and he feels that by not turning him in, he is damning his soul to hell, and it's this juxtaposition of Huck believing that obviously what the adults around him say is right, and what the society around him says is right, and that African American people, black people are property, and are to be treated as such, and so his job is to not lie and to tell his owner where his property is, to write him a letter, and I guess obviously, and then but then what's fighting that is his heart, because he's gotten to know him as a person and loves him, and sees how kind and strong and beautiful a person he is and has been to him, and all he's trying to do is get to his family, and he goes and he views that impulse within him, because it is going against the society, as evil, and he's like, why can't I just feel like he's my friend and I love him, but I know that's wrong and I have to do what's right, and God wants me to do this. And it's such a brilliant reversal. It's such a brilliant, like, through the eyes of babes kind of thing, where it's like, no, and you see it so clearly that the entire society is incredibly wrong. And there's a moment where he goes, he's sitting there and he writes the letter and he feels better, and he's like, okay, I'm doing the right thing. I'm being strong. I'm doing the hard right thing. I'm turning him in, even though he's my friend. He's this man's property, and I need to do the right thing. And I don't. And he just looks at it, and then he feels he kind of changes a little bit and sort of feels this tension, and then he just picks it up and says, all right, then I'll go to hell, and tears it up, and it's just the most moving thing in the world, and it's such a beautiful and clear and devastating expose of racism and how ridiculous it is.
Revisit. I haven't read it since I was a kid.
Yeah.
I need to go back as an adult and like pick up on all, like, just to read it, to have it impact.
He's amazing. Mark Twain is incredible. There's a story by Mark Twain called The Diary of Adam and Eve, which was hilarious, and then at the end of it makes me sob. And I'm going to send that to you because it's amazing. You guys should all...
Guess what, guys? This is a book stream now.
Yeah, baby!
We're off YOJIMBO. We've been off that all stream.
Yeah, that's true. We talked more about YOJIMBO last stream. Hold on a second. I'm going to look up real quick. So this is the Devil's Dictionary. It's online. All this stuff is public domain.
Cool.
I'm going to look up, let's say, like love.
Sonnet stream, best stream.
Sonnet stream. We did a sonnet stream. It was great. It's great.
Oh, that's a good idea. We should do a Southern Gothic month.
Oh, yeah.
That would be awesome.
Anthem Body Saints.
Anthem Body Saints. You could do any number of
In the Garden of Good and Evil.
No.
In the Midnight in the Garden of Good and
we
Evil.
will not be doing that. But we could do George Washington.
Oh, I've never seen that.
It's great.
David Gordon Green. Yeah, baby.
We could do a number of David Gordon Green movies. I'm trying to think what else fits the Southern Gothic mold. I saw a movie at South by with freaking who is the old guy? He was the in All the President's Men. He wasn't old then. He was
Jason
Deep
Robards?
Throat.
Hal Hartley.
Hal Hartley. I saw a movie. He was there. Got to meet him. He was really nice. He had just done Into the Wild.
Oh, are you talking about?
It's a movie where he's got a house.
Robert Duvall's in it.
I don't.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
It's a movie where
This Evening Sun.
he owns a house, and then his son wants him out of the house. And it's like on a nice piece of farmland. The whole movie takes place on a farm.
Is it This Evening Sun?
And then by the end of the movie, the house burns down, and I think he torches it himself because he'd rather burn it down than. It was like a real indie movie. I felt like I don't remember Robert Duvall being in it.
Yeah, I think I'm thinking of another one. There's another one with Robert Duvall. Yeah, okay.
Dripped in Southern Gothic atmosphere. Beautiful film that I never heard a peep about from the moment after that screening. That would be a really good one.
Not Hal Hartley. Hal Holbrook.
Hal Holbrook, yeah.
Hold on.
How would you describe? What's the definition of Southern Gothic?
Is that it?
Yep.
Yeah.
That is a terrible poster.
Yeah.
Makes it look like David Lynch's Disney movie, but it's a great movie.
Southern Gothic is, yeah, I don't know. It's,
how do you like officially? Because you know it when you see it.
Yeah, and it's a feel.
It is a feel.
It's I mean, it's Gothic literature transposed to the Old South, where it has these like kind of like. It's, I mean, it's a dark, it's a pervasive dark theme, kind of like these monolithic structures that instead of being cathedrals and stuff like that are these like sort of like plantation homes and.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's
a lot of mossy trees.
It's kind of,
and a lot of morning mist.
It's the cover of it in the Garden of Good in the Midnight in the Garden.
Yes,
it's that. Yeah,
and Midnight the droll sound of Kevin Spacey's forbidden lips.
Yeah. Will you go to lunch?
Southern Gothic is a subgenre of Gothic fiction in American literature that takes place in the American South. Yeah, common themes include deeply flawed, disturbing, or eccentric characters who may be involved in hoodoo, decayed or derelict settings, grotesque situations, and other sinister events relating to or stemming from poverty, alienation, crime, or violence.
Yeah.
Yeah, that really does sum it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love Southern Gothic stuff. I would argue True Detective season 1
definitely
is just drenched in it.
Yeah.
True Blood. Oh yeah, both true shows. Yeah, True Blood for sure.
Language. So this is the Devil's Dictionary. Language, noun. The music with which we charm the serpents guarding another's treasure.
I'm sorry, what are we doing right now?
This is the Devil's Dictionary, where it's sarcastic definitions stuff. Because
and then you were expecting a pick.
No, well, no, I know.
Like, I'm gonna hit him hard with this first one, and then it landed, and I didn't know what we were doing, and you were like, "Well, shit."
A lawyer is one skilled in circumvention of the law. There we go. Thank you. It's good. It's good. Hey man, it's good. Hold on. A liar is a lawyer with a roving commission. Hold on, let's look up love. A temporary insanity, curable by marriage, or by removal of the patient from the influences under which he incurred the disorder. This disease, like caries and many other ailments, is prevalent only among civilized races living under artificial conditions. Barbarous nations, breathing pure air and eating simple food, enjoy immunity from its ravages. It is sometimes fatal, but more frequently to the physician than to the patient. Anyways.
That's good.
Yeah. Anyway, the Devil's Dictionary is fantastic. It's really good. But his stories are. He's got a story about a werepanther, and I was like, "What, dude? A werepanther?
Like a werewolf / panther?
Like it's like a person who turns into a panther.
Oh wow!
And I was like, I didn't even know that was an option. That's great. Werepanther.
Did you ever like
called Eye of the Panther?
Did you ever like Beast Wars?
Never saw Beast Wars. That's the Transformers where they turn into animals.
We should do a whole month on Beast Wars. It's really good.
Is it really?
It's got a great, from what as a
Transformers
child.
that turn into animals.
Yeah.
So big robot.
But it
animals.
had like a great story to it.
Okay.
Like it was like almost this Greek tragedy, like
really?
Titans like going at it with each other because they're on this lost planet, and I just remember being really impressed. Again, I was a kid, but like even then I was like, well, Batman's clearly superior to like everything else I'm watching. Like in terms of just like the gravity of what these stories are. And I kind of felt the same thing about Beast Wars to some extent. Anyways, just watch it.
Beast Wars. But I feel so. Here's my deal. Okay, so it's a different. It's the
CG.
It's an abandoned planet.
It's like a
Are there humans?
rogue. No.
Okay.
It's an abandoned planet. They're the only ones there.
Okay. Because I was
There's
gonna
like a floating island that they have to figure out why it's floating, and it has something to do with the magnetism of the planet, and that comes into play with like the power of that they find. Or it's
Sounds
cool.
interesting.
Yeah, it's very cool.
I was gonna say, and so but don't Transformers happen when just like a blank robot comes and like touches something and then it looks like that?
So when they crash land,
They're just all these
some
animals.
of them like land, like the Decepticons land in essentially like the dinosaur pit type thing,
Yeah,
like the mountains where the dinosaurs live. So they all turn into dinosaurs, and then
good guys land in like the lemur cave, and they're like they're all lemurs.
They're all lemurs, and
just
you're like, well, this is stacked weird, but whatever. We got a budget, so. But like Optimus Prime is a gorilla.
Oh yeah.
And
and
it's the most badass. When he fully forms, it's the most badass design of Optimus Prime I've ever seen.
But also his name is Optimus Primal.
That's right. It is. I don't know if you're making a joke.
I'm not making a joke.
But that's
it
true.
really truly is.
Yeah. And there's Cheetah. Cheetah.
What does Cheetah turn into?
He turns into Cheetah.
Okay, let's go.
He was real whiny, but I thought he was like that. He was like Legolas, where you're like.
Gosh,
you're like, when you're younger, you're just like, that's cool. And then you get older, and you're like, what a whiny little bitch.
Yeah, totally. Totally. That's a very pretty lady over there. Sean.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, that might be a cheetah. That wouldn't be my first step of war. Sean, I don't know what you're taking.
Yeah.
I'm drunk.
I had sex with many big cats. I've been kicked out of many a zoo. But I always find my way back in.
Sean, we really feel like we're like moments away from calling the police.
Go ahead, call him.
I like those outfits.
Just leave me with that girl with a bow and arrow. His name is Orlando Bloom. That's fine.
That's fine. That's fine.
He doesn't know he's a girl yet. I'll show him. Oh, gosh. Is this?
I'll show him the One Ring.
Yeah.
That's right.
We have the ring. No, not that one.
They had to get it resized. They said I could keep this one. And I've been wearing it underneath my cloak.
Hey, Ken Coldblood. Hey.
What's up, dude?
Gargoyles Month. Oh.
Oh, fuck. That would be awesome because I've never seen it and I heard great things about it.
Yeah. Ba-na-na-na-na-nam. 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 Gargoyles. Ba-na-na-na-na-nam. Ba-na-na-na-na-na. Gargoyles. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Gargoyles.
Did you ever watch X-Men?
If you like Batman the Animated Series, please watch Gargoyles. Sorry, go ahead.
I could never get into X-Men because anytime it would be the last show of the Saturday morning block. It would come on at like 11. And so you'd watch from like 8 to 11 and it would be the last show. And I always wanted to watch it because I thought the animation was like pretty complicated compared to what I was watching before, but I was interested. But anytime it started, I was just like, I don't know what's happening.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was all one big story.
And they're like, this was based on X-Men 572, man.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay.
And they're like, this is what happened last week. And last week's episode is a recap. And you're like, I don't know what that
Like,
I don't have no context for that.
You're like, that's a brain walking around like a spider. What is that? Yeah.
And then you got the big, what are the big
Sentinels?
guys? Sentinels, yeah. And you're just like, I don't know what's happening. And then they're really accurately like getting the whole like, theme of like, mutants are, and they really explore that because I watched a couple like last year, and I was like, oh, they really do a good job like tackling that head on from like episode 1.
That's cool.
But as a child, you're just like, oh, what? And like, the animation was that thing where I was just like, this is very complicated looking.
I didn't like it.
Yeah.
I couldn't get into it because I didn't like the art.
Yeah, I didn't like the art. I watched it last year, and I was just like, nah.
Yeah, and Wolverine goes, hey, I'm Wolverine, or whatever.
Yeah.
And coming from X-Men, like the X-Men that I loved, which was Jim Lee art, which in the 90s was tip of the top. That's how that's the best. I mean, whatever. Jim Lee changed comic art forever, for better or for worse. But he was amazing. And it's like they tried to animate that, but they were like, we can't do this.
Yeah.
And it's like, we'll just make the shadows really dark. And I was like, that's weird.
Isn't Jim Lee like super smooth type? Like very well done, very polished.
Oh yeah, he's Hush. So.
Yeah. Yes. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Which is like Hush is like the slick studio blockbuster of Batman comics where I go.
Yes, we've had this conversation, and I agree. Like I like it.
And
I mean, Batman.
I just go like Batman shouldn't look like Wolverine, shouldn't look like Superman, shouldn't look like whatever, and they all look the same.
I just feel like as long as the story's cool, like I'm pretty much into it. Like I've read some really cool Batman recommendations, and then I've had some recommendations that I was like, Like I heard really good things online about Night of the Owls.
Oh yeah, I haven't finished that.
And then I bought the whole graphic novel
with a mask.
With the mask, and like I got it, and I was stoked. And then I read it, and I was just like, that was pretty lackluster, like compared to everything else. But then, granted, I was barreling through all the hard classics. I had just done Long Halloween and Year One.
Year One is my favorite.
And Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah.
And Death in the Family, which is a great one with really cool retro, like it's that '80s Batman, like blue Batman, you know. Yeah. I love. Is it cool.
I don't know if it's Norm Brayfogle, but I love that.
I'm pretty sure that's the one where. Because that's one where Robin dies. Or
Spoiler.
Jason Todd. And I think he just fucking beats him with a pipe.
It's exactly right.
Just beats him with a pipe.
And then the warehouse explodes.
Yes, that's it. Yeah.
And then he goes, I've got diplomatic immunity because I've cuddled up with, I can't remember who it is, like Muammar Gaddafi or somebody, and you're like, and you go,
whoa, this got real.
What happened?
Yeah.
It's like, it's a very strange twist. And a very 80s thing, but the best thing about that, which I'm sure, like, because Jason Todd, and then that story bleeds into the one of my favorite Batman stories of all time. So because what they had was Dick Grayson and he, I don't know, this is all stuff that probably talked about, or you obviously know, so it was like they had Dick Grayson, and then they were like, you know what, he's getting a little too old. He could basically almost kind of sort of do what Batman can do in like a lesser way. We're gonna turn him into Nightwing, send him off, give him his own city, and no one will ever read those comics, and that's fine. Because
he'll come back, he'll provide some assists.
Who needs JV Batman? No one needs JV Batman. That's what you're on Nightwing. I
always liked Nightwing.
Yeah, he's cool.
I read a couple comics, and I was like, but then I was always like, I was way into Robin, growing up. Like I was a Batman kid, but like I really, because Robin's it does what the people who created Robin wanted it to do, which was the kid will think he's Robin, and then that'll
stupid kids,
and then stupid kids will be like, let's buy this Robin stuff because they're fucking idiots.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Robin's got to do math homework. Don't you have math homework?
I'm like, I do. Give it to me. Give me the toy. Give me the green underwear.
Make sure he's got no pants on.
Yeah, I don't want pants.
I don't wear pants. Robin shouldn't wear pants.
Now, what about those shoes? Are they elf shoes?
Can
bring them over
Peter
here.
Pan shoes, please? Yes.
She's like, that's right.
Yeah, all right.
But no, what's next?
Why does
he's got a yellow collar on,
and he's
with a red shirt. That's right.
Did you just run through the closet and whatever stuck? No, sorry, you ran through a theater department. And for some reason, your green underwear has scales on it. Why does it have scales? You're a Robin, right?
I'm glad the shirt's red, though, because that'll be able to hide the blood.
Yeah!
You look like an idiot. Look like a man.
Every time I've seen a Robin in Scotland, it was always dressed like a clown. With hot pants on. No, that's not a Robin. That's something else that I took home. You're a Robin, right? Pen?
Is what I would say to the whore.
And she'd say, I don't know. And I'd say, here's your money. And she's like, your hand's empty. And he goes, yes.
Anyway. Sean Connery, I'm not paying for this. I won't do it.
This is a chest check.
I turned down Gandalf. I don't have the money.
Yeah, but so anyway. So they go off and go be baby Batman.
Yeah.
You go be Team Batman. And he goes, cool. And then after a while, they're like, you know what we should do is bring back that kid with no pants. And then they invented Jason Todd, and they were like, he's gonna be a tough dude. He's got a hot temper, and then Batman, because he's boosting the tires off the Batmobile, whatever. And then, but he never was as popular. And people were like,
"Oh yeah," people were like, "Get rid of him.
We don't like
dude.
him."
That's right.
And so what they did in the storyline is they set up a situation where Robin was in peril.
And they were like, "Which one do you want?"
They literally set up a 1-900 number and said, "All right, America, do you want him to live or should we kill the little bastard?" And America killed him.
And so the first comment section.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. But also, Jason Todd is the most put upon character in comics because that poor son of a bitch his parents are killed. Then he finds out that his parents are not really his parents, and he has to go, or at least his mom is not really his mom, and then he goes, I gotta go find out who my mom is.
Right, yeah.
And Batman's like, no, man, we got the mission. Forget about your mother. And he goes, look, I know you got issues with that, but my mom is out there somewhere. He goes, shut up, Robin. Shut up and keep those pants off. And he goes, well, I just am going to go find my mom, okay? You don't need your mom. You need me. And he's like, this is getting weird.
Call me mommy.
Call me yes, mom. And then he goes, I'm going to go find it. And he's like, I've narrowed it down to these 3 people in the whole world.
That's right, yeah.
And he goes to one, and she's a supervillain. And she goes,
yeah.
I'm not your mom, you idiot. And he goes, cool. And then he goes to a dog. And he goes, are you my mother? And he goes, you're a bird, you fucking idiot. It's based on the children's book, Are You My Mother, where a bird loses his mom and has a bunch of animals. Are you familiar, maybe? And then he goes to another one, and that's not his mom for some reason.
But she's like an assassin, right?
Yeah, the first one's an assassin. It's like Lady Shiva or someone.
Oh, is that what it was?
I think one.
It's all coming back to me.
Someone like that.
The artwork in my head, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like
But who's the mom?
A woman who's doing humanitarian work. Like it's like a.
But isn't she like a double agent or something? Yeah.
So it's like a supervillain, someone else who's terrible for some reason, and a woman doing humanitarian work in the Middle East.
So you're like, oh, that's good.
And he goes, that's him. And she goes, oh my gosh, it's you. I'm so glad. I'm so sorry. And I had to give you up and blah, 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 blah. And then she sells him out to the Joker. She sells his ass out to the Joker, who ties him up, says, come on, Batman. You're just a pawn, Robin. You always will be. Yeah. Keep that in mind. Always know that. Beats him to death with a crowbar and blows up.
Yeah, he's still a little bit alive.
Yeah, and he goes,
and then
Batman, and Batman's like looking, and he goes, oh, I should really get over there. And then it goes, and Batman goes, no, this will be the only time I fail to save someone I care about.
Yeah.
And then that wasn't the case.
That's not gonna happen.
And then they go, yeah, it was like about to blow up, and they go, hey everyone, should we kill him?
Yeah.
He just found out his mom isn't really his mom. They're all terrible, except one who seemed wonderful, but she sold him out to the Joker. So that's the ultimate betrayal. Should we now just kill him?
Yeah.
Let's just kill him, should we? Or you can keep him alive. And everyone goes, because you have to call a number and press 1 or press 2 or something like that. You'd press die or press live, and everyone goes beep, boop, 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 bam.
Yeah.
And
that
so,
is so
there are two.
funny
There are two parallel. Yeah.
Like, do you know like how
close it was?
Yeah.
I think it maybe was kind of close.
Really?
Yeah, which is the worst.
I wish it was way more lopsided.
But it's just crazy because on 2 planes of existence, the world was like, fuck you, Jason Todd.
Yeah.
And then when he came back, really, as the way he came back, it made more sense. Hold on, Jason Todd.
Did you know they made a Gotham by Gaslight video game that never got put into production?
I've seen.
Did you see the demos?
A little bit. Is it pretty awesome?
I mean, for PS2, it looked amazing. I would have been way into that.
They should totally do Gotham by Gaslight as a movie.
They did.
Oh, well, like a real movie.
Yeah, that would be cool. I did not like the animated movie. It didn't work. It didn't, like, animation-wise. I was like, this is too clean. This really needs to look like something different.
Like Mignola, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
Said it got. Hold on a dang second.
Is it 11?
Yeah, probably.
Guys, next week is Throne of Blood.
Says narrow majority. Dang it. Okay.
And I know we did talk about. I feel like we talked about YOJIMBO plenty. But
Yeah.
I know we were all over the place with this episode, but guess what?
That's how we do it.
That's what we're gonna do.
Well, we also didn't mention the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle character Usagi Yojimbo, who's a rabbit.
Oh.
He's a friend of the friend of the Ninja Turtles. He's also it was an indie comic, and he's just a rabbit. And you can look it up, and that's true. I don't know. Haven't seen Throne of Blood, nor have I. The inside back cover of the issue listed two 1-900 numbers that readers could call to vote for the character's death or survival. Within the 36-hour period allotted for voting, the poll received 10,614 votes.
Wow.
The verdict in favor of the character's death won by a slim 72 vote margin of 5,343 votes to 5,271.
That's crazy.
One word, Florida.
They were like, it was the Chads, guys.
Kill him.
Kill him.
America voted, all 10,000 of them. At the time.
We all did when they brought Robin back, did it still have his... Because he had, like, a ballet outfit up until then.
I want to see what Jason Todd looked like in the 80s. No, yeah, he had that, whatever.
He had the...
I think it wasn't until...
The green booties.
Yeah. What's the third one's name? Gosh darn it, I can't remember.
Jason Todd.
The Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, and... I can't believe I can't remember.
The third kid.
Yeah, the third one's just kind of like they're like they even him out. He's like a little cooler than normal Robin. But then he's also like a good dude. And now there've been like 6 Robins.
I'm talking about, I guess. Well, I guess he was Jason Todd in the animated show.
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about.
But they evened him out.
Yes, yeah, because they brought him back and people liked the character and then they're like, he's a good guy now.
Yeah.
I wish he'd come back and been like, now, spoiler, Red Hood, and I've got I use double guns and this and that, and then the camera goes whoop, and he's like, and you're still not wearing pants. He's like,
it's a goddamn good look.
It breathes. Sean? That's right. That's right.
I'm very old, and I get lost.
I've got to take care of little Ian. What? I'm so confused.
I changed his name. Someone change me.
Charles, I'm in here. Oh boy, the other one. What is it? Tim Drake.
Tim
Drake. Yeah, Tim Drake. And then there's Damian Wayne, who's Batman's actual son.
What?
Oh really? Yeah, he's like a kid, little kid Robin. He's Batman's son with Talia al Ghul.
Oh, I don't like that.
Then there was a female Robin, a couple female Robins. There's What's Your Face from
Dark Knight
Returns, and then there's a girl who's a female Robin for a second, and then she was like Batgirl, and then she was a character named Spoiler.
Yeah, I dig the whole. That's always like in Dark Knight Returns. I always
Carrie Kelly. I think
before I read it, I thought that was just cause of the history. I was like, oh, it's shaggy haired, and I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Because your outfits up till that point were made more for a lady.
That's right. All right.
Next week, more Sean Connery, because I feel like that's really fun to do.
We haven't.
And I like hearing him do it.
Yeah, and we haven't. I don't think we've tapped that well yet.
No, if you come in prepped with some material.
Wait, what?
If you come in.
Well, you got to do it too. We're gonna book. You're gonna read Huckleberry Finn.
Yes.
And I'm gonna read the.
Wait, what? You're gonna work on your Sean Connery impression? I have to read Huck Finn.
No, you're gonna come and read it aloud as Sean Connery.
Oh.
I'm gonna read the script of Blazing Saddles as Sean Connery, and we will be banned within seconds. If he preps, it will be way worse.
I really would love.
Junior.
I honestly feel like maybe we should do some Sean Connery movies.
We called the dog Indiana, like Zardoz and also Zardoz.
Well, he's got so many. I watched Never Say Never Again.
Oh my gosh.
It's awesome. It's Thunderball remade.
Right. It's
pretty. I was like, I remember that being kick ass.
It's the Outsider, not Broccoli production.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got Kim Basinger and.
Oh yeah.
It's good. I enjoyed it. I think it's a really good non-Bond movie, but Bond movie.
And you know why it's called Never Say Never Again?
Yeah, because he said he would never play the part again.
Yeah.
My wife came up with that. It's true.
Yeah. I said that's a good one.
Not
funny. It's not funny.
All the men are in
Oh my god! That is a literal line from Goldfinger, where he's like,
"Oh, he slaps some. She's like, the men are talking."
You go, yeah.
Boom, boom, and she's like,
yeah, it's
I just gave you a massage.
I remember seeing that when I was like in 8th grade or something, and my jaw went,
yeah,
kunk, because he's sitting there at the pool with her.
That's why he was a great Bond, because it's his misogyny is built so hard into his DNA, and so it was. Let's be very frank here. Bond is a horrible misogynistic guy.
Yeah.
So it just worked.
He's basically that guy from Kids who wants to give people AIDS.
I mean,
that's what
I'm not disagreeing.
But
mainly because I'm flabbergasted.
They can't help you. But no, he's sitting there at the pool, and then she's sitting there like sunning herself, and then like he's like, James, and he's like, yes, and they're like, we have some stuff to talk about. And he goes, oh, this is Peter, whatever your name is, whatever his name is. He goes, this is Dink. Her name is Dink. He goes, say hi, Dink. Say hello, Dink. And she goes, hi.
Hello
goes,
to the gentleman, Dink.
Yeah. Which like
yeah
is yeah. And he goes, say hello, Dink. And she goes, hello. And he goes, say goodbye, Dink. And she goes, goodbye? He goes, yes, man talk. Smacks her on the ass,
Yeah.
and she goes, okay, this is my life.
And then, like, the next one was the exact same scene. But her name was...
No.
What was her name?
What are you saying?
I don't know.
Okay, you just want me to say something equally racist? I saw kids in
Oh, is Dink racist?
I mean, I think it's like a very under...
I thought it was just a...
Thank God,
she's
underutilized.
a dummy.
No, I think it's like a...
Was she Asian?
No. She
Oh,
wasn't.
God.
She wasn't, but I think... But that's...
But that sounds
that's,
like...
it is.
Yeah. Okay. Because for a second, I thought you were like, it's not an Asian thing. And then I was like, what does that say about me?
No, it is an Asian. It is. I mean, it's not an Asian thing. It's a very, very, thankfully underutilized,
I don't
very
think we're allowed to talk about this.
absurd, yeah, racial epithet for. It's probably. I don't know.
You saw kids in a dank theater in Long Beach with my dad as a teenager. Oh my God.
That is awkward. Especially the thing. The movie's called Kids, and it is.
And you're like, what is this documentary we're watching?
And it's
about little kids fucking.
Yeah.
That's what that movie is.
Yes, sir.
And it's frankly, it's Larry Clark's best movie.
Yeah.
I like Larry Clark movies because they tap
push the
into
envelope,
something
yeah.
that is so very real.
Yeah.
And I like Bully. And
I like Bully. I like Bully a lot,
like
actually.
he has made some very good movies.
Yeah.
And they're just so uncomfortable to watch because they feel so hyper realistic. Like Rosario Dawson is in Kids, you know,
Yeah,
like
that
a
was
lot
her
of people
breakout.
broke out of Kids, and it's just weird to watch because it feels so authentic.
Yeah.
Because it kind of was in terms of like how they shot it, just very run and gun, and
That's
close to venues in it, and
that's what we need to do too. Is one of like
I do Larry Clark.
yeah,
That'd
well,
be awkward.
or like movies that are just like were like very near being banned, or like there was that like that, and like I don't know, Cannibal Holocaust. I don't know.
Yeah. Jeremy St. James has
Yeah.
been in 2 Larry Clark movies.
Yeah. He's in the sequel. There's a sequel to
Marfa.
Girl. The Marfining.
I asked him what that process was like working with Larry Clark, and he described a scene in which he had to be fully naked, and I was like, cool, so it's exactly what I thought it would be.
Fully
like.
naked and erect.
Yeah.
Which I was like, man.
And I was like, wow. He was like, how was that? And he was like, no hyperbole. He was just like fucking hard. It was like, it was difficult to do that.
Yeah.
Considering the context of why he was supposed to be hard.
Right.
And having to just do that in general in front of a bunch of crew.
Yeah.
Anyways.
That's a good closer.
what are we doing next week? Throne of Blood. It's a good one.
Yeah.
Watch it. It's really, really great. I think it has my favorite Kurosawa shot of all time. Of everything I've seen so far. It has my favorite shot.
That's cool.
And I think you'll know it when you see it. Because it's pretty striking. So I'll be curious to... I'm going to ask you about it next week. I'll be like, what do you think my favorite shot was? I'll ask you what your favorite shot was.
Okay.
I'll be like, what do you think my favorite shot was?
And I'll say, well,
And I'll be like, God damn it.
tell you what my favorite
It was the shot of
was.
those geishas. Little...
Should we continue? Should we stop?
we should stop.
Yeah, I know.
Almost gets you into trouble.
It's sure. Yeah, I know. It just comes out of nowhere. It just, yeah. This will be our. This is the kids of filmography. This one. This is the one that'll get us banned.
This one got
little,
touched on a lot of.
Little blue, little
little lamp.
yeah, but a little everything. All right, guys, have a good one, and I'll see you later, and I will see you tomorrow. I think, yeah, tomorrow's No, not tomorrow. See you soon.
Ken, you're watching Kids with your 5-year-old right now.
You're watching this with your 5-year-old right now? Okay. Hello? What's your child's name? Oh, don't say your child's name on the internet. Hello. Oh, good.
Child's name.
Little Ken. Hello, little Kenny. Go to bed.
Do Mel Gibson and Braveheart.
Okay. I've heard. No. I've heard. No, okay.
Yeah, you gotta find, like, say there's a line. It's like,
And if he were here. No, crap. He'd insanulate the English with
if I can live in peace, I will.
Yeah, how about, I love you. Always have. Always
That's
will.
the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love you. Always have.
Always will. Always will. It just talks like this. It just goes crazy. That's it. That's easy. It's this. You gotta get the crazy. It's just like, oh.
Yeah.
How much
It's a lot of that.
That's
yeah.
right. That's right. Okay. That's it. That's it. Hold on. Watch this.
What's the crazy guys? Oh, go
That's
ahead.
right. Because you have to do the...
This is how he he exit a lot of scenes like this, where he's like, he'll finish the scene and be like, all right.
Yeah.
He's constantly like figuring out how to get up without breaking eye contact.
Yeah. He goes, oh yes. Oh yes. Yes. Sophie Marceau.
Oh, she was so beautiful in that movie.
She's a lovely, lovely
Yeah,
woman.
I
Lovely
had a big
person.
crush on her.
Understood.
Yeah.
She's also in one of the Bond films.
Which one?
I don't care. It's true.
I would have had her.
I think it's maybe the one with Dr. Christmas Jones. And
I wrote that one, you know. I said we need some strong female characters. I said, Akira, make her a nuclear physicist.
Yeah.
I said, what do you want to call her, Sean? I said, well, I'll be goddamned if I'm not going to call her Christmas Jones.
Because I love visiting the holidays. Isn't that the line? He says something like...
What?
He says something like... He goes, your name is Christmas Jones. And they go, all right, Sean, because this is a world where Sean Connery
is
the world is not
yeah.
And he goes...
I'm falling right there with you. I didn't miss a beat.
And he goes, you've named it... And he also wrote the script. And he goes...
He's pulling all duties. It was a passion project. Okay.
I joined ACE. I'm editing this, and he goes, yes. You see, she's Dr. Christmas Jones, which sets up the punchline. Oh, good to meet you. I've always wanted to fuck Denise Richards.
Am I doing this right? I don't know.
Wait, no. Something about visiting between the holidays or something? Yes, that's right.
That's right.
The camera's rolling. Because Yes.
Sean, who else is going to be in this movie? Well, Ian McKellen for damn sure, I'll tell you that much.
He's at attention right now. Dr. Christmas Jones, Holly Goodhead, and you were bringing her back. And then for some reason, unfortunately, cut for time, was my other character, Dr. Professor Vagina. God. Dr. Space Vagina. That's her name. What does she do? She's a Nobel laureate. At what? You don't want to know. Oh, gosh, darn it. What's up, Embalock?
Oh, God. I gotta say, this has been one of the most enjoyable ones we've ever done. I have laughed a lot. Embalock, you missed out.
Hey,
we
man.
did not really talk about this movie all that much. We liked it. We covered it. Yeah. We did a good job. We spent a solid 2 hours talking about nonsense.
Yeah. Sean Connery.
Sean Connery is now...
Sean Shen. It's not...
Sean, stop working your name.
I'm getting it out there. I don't have social media, so I just say my name as much as I can.
You're one of the most popular actors on the planet.
It's a work in progress. Got to be on that grind. Hashtag lit. Hashtag killing it. Gosh darn it.
He's like, did you really say she's going to be a Nobel laureate? Oh, my God.
Hashtag... Wait. Hold on.
No, you're telling me.
Nobel? I don't know what Nobel means. I had a woman put bells on me once so she could hear me coming so she could leave. And I said, I'll let you hear me. All right. So here we go.
I just don't want to be wearing bells. I want to be very clear about that.
Yeah, I've got the ring. The one ring. One ring to rule them all. Must have talked about it a lot before I got here. We did.
Woo!
It was gold. I don't know if it was... You should skip the VOD. Yeah, I would. No, you don't... Whatever. I don't know when. Just don't listen to it in a place where there are other human beings who can hear it.
Yeah, this one got a little inappropriate.
A little Sean.
But that's what happens when Sean comes
Sean
around.
shows up. Yes. Well, you know, I was in a Bruckheimer film once.
Yeah, which one was that?
It was called, what was it called, actually? It's called The Rock.
Did you enjoy your experience on that movie?
Yes, you know what?
I feel like you have something to say. I don't want to interrupt you
I don't.
or lead you on.
No, I just want you to stay right there at this moment in time. And then just be there and we won't deal with you. And that'll be great. We'll just do everything around you. Hospital for the... Oh. Yes. You know what I wanted to call it. Gone in 60 seconds.
Get out of here.
Yeah. Gone in 60 seconds. Oh, sure. No, that's the other film. I wanted to call mine. I ejaculate in 60 seconds.
Jerry said no. Don Simpson was right on board, though. I'll tell you that much.
That man's a trooper. Dr. Christmas Jones. Dr. Professor Space Vagina.
You guys said I had to be more PC. I'm giving what you want.
I'm giving them a job. Goodness gracious. It's like I'm playing Sims here. And then this other one who shows up, she's Prime Minister Constance Chlamydia. I stay away from that one. Love when the guys can't, when he's quoting someone who's chatting me all this time. Everyone sexual ties, you sound can't impress me. It's just interesting. It's not good. One of my favorite Kurosawa. What a dishonor. Yes. We did talk about
Who's
it.
Who's going to play the Prime Minister of in the film, Sean?
Oh my gosh.
Is it going to be an age-appropriate woman or?
No, I'm not even gonna. I drew an anime character, and that's who's gonna play it.
Someone who can fit these proportions.
Yeah. I have a body pillow. It's going to be voiced by Ariana Grande. Yes, I know her name. Goodness gracious.
Dr. Christmas Jones. So we got a space. Wait, what was her name?
Dr. Professor Space Vagina.
Dr. Professor Space Vagina. And then we've got Prime Minister played by a body pillow voiced by Ariana Grande. I want to see this movie.
This is an ensemble. I believe we'll get the golden popcorn for this. MTV Movie Awards, eat your heart out. Oh my gosh.
Oh shit! I don't think my heart can take any more of this right now. My
Ah.
stomach hurts. I've been laughing too much. Guys, throwing the blood next week.
We also talked about Mark Twain, and we talked
we did.
about Ambrose Bierce and literature, and we talked a lot about Yojimbo.
We did.
Which basically is
what took us off onto a weird tangent was that we both agreed that it is a great movie, but in terms of his filmography, we also were surprised that it didn't seem to have as much depth as other movies. Then we started talking about movies that
don't
didn't
have
as
depth,
much
and
depth,
that's a bad.
And then Sean Connery popped his head up almost instantaneously.
Yeah, and he goes, oh,
Movies with no depth, you say?
yes, my George, Sean Connery's. Oh, yes. Yeah. But yeah, basically it's a great film. It is a great film, and I was expecting it to go for something that it did not go for. We both felt that way. For what it is going, I mean, it is a pretty. I mean,
It's a tight,
it's
self-contained,
a tight little package. What? And it's exactly what it wants to be, and what I want it to be, and no more.
It was just like my little Yojimbo. That's right.
Yes. No. I just cried. I'm crying. Yours, his, both. Oh, mine. Yes. And we basically Seven Samurai is like better Star Wars, and Yojimbo is like Indiana Jones right there.
Yeah, it's on.
I think that's the most.
We were like, it's like Indiana Jones in the sense that like looking for depth in the
cool
way that a lot of like High and Low or Seven Samurai or Throne of Blood or a lot of these other movies, Kurosawa movies have. We didn't. It's there's some there, but not a lot. And it's just a really, really great kind of action Western type film. It was awesome. I really liked it.
I would love to listen to that commentary actually, because there's a very real there's a very real possibility that I missed some of the subtleties, said the guy who's just been doing
Dr.
Sean Connery,
Space Vagina.
who just said Dr. Professor Space Vagina.
Yeah, Mifune's performance is great. The cinematography is awesome. The story's great. Like, it's all really, really wonderful.
It's gangbusters.
We forgot to mention I liked reading how when Sergio Leone did A Fistful of Dollars, which is an unofficial remake of Yojimbo.
I wanted to call it A Fistful of something else. Go ahead. Sorry.
Kurosawa sent Sergio Leone a letter. And he said,
"Oh yeah, he sued him."
He's like, I think you made a very fine film. Unfortunately, it's my film."
Yes.
And I was like, and that's all he said. And I was like, that's amazing.
Yeah. And then he sent him another letter that was just like, "That was amusing." And you're just like, "Wait, what?" And he just Then he goes, "I have a lot of people to kill." Significant chunk of Leone's overall aesthetic was lifted directly from Yojimbo. Yeah, totally, absolutely fair.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, and that we mentioned that as well, that this is a film where you going backward and watching it does not necessarily have the same effect, because it has inspired so many things that have built upon it and lifted from it, that you just go, oh, it's another one of these, and it's like, no, it's the one of those.
Yeah.
And then everything else.
It's kind of started the Man of No Name type archetype.
Yeah. Even though Mifune's character in Seven Samurai kind of has no name as well, and kind of takes his name. It's an interesting.
And they say that Kurosawa was influenced by, is it Dashiell Hammett?
Yes, right.
There's
the Red
Harvest.
Red Harvest.
Yeah, which was about warring gangs during the Prohibition or something. Something.
Pinkerton. Yeah.
Pinkerton,
well, it's like it's Pinkerton agents, I believe. Hey, the Oman. Oh, the D-Man. Sorry. Sorry, man. My eyes. But I also like, because there's so many options for next month. We've talked about a couple of them. Mm-hmm. Primarily, most time was about Kevin Bacon's dick movies. Mm-hmm. But we talked about a second month of Kurosawa. We talked about some other stuff. There are remakes. It'd be interesting to watch like The Magnificent Seven and Last Man Standing.
Yeah.
Like remakes of these films, you know what I mean? Even like a different version of Macbeth or something. But
I like that idea. But I also like the idea. Like our initial idea was to go crazy, and do something like I'm even open to the idea of like we don't have to pertain it to one theme or anything. Like we could just pick some movies that we really want to cover that might not fit into other categories.
Yeah.
Like for a while.
Yeah.
And maybe we could hit those.
I
don't
had
know.
another idea that I want to tell you later.
Okay.
As Sean Connery.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I'm very excited.
Yeah, I know. I've read Red Harvest. It's the same basic idea. One dude who goes into a shitty place and sets all the factions against each other, but it's very different otherwise.
Yeah, and I think that's essentially what I read is that he took like the core element and that was about it. But
hey, the D-Man. Yes. So I play games occasionally, and then once a week on Mondays is my friend Jeff Ray. He is a director and filmmaker. Because those two things are distinct. He's a writer director. He's an auteur. Let's just say it.
that's what I say to the mirror every morning when I wake up.
Yeah, and yes, and I'm an actor, and we like film a lot, and we talk about it. We're doing Kurosawa month, so next Monday we'll be doing Throne of Blood. Can I share something you guys can review later that very little people know about? Sure. Sometimes games, sometimes sonnets. Filmography is a weekly show about a specific film every week. Thank you. YOJIMBO's a hell of a film. Yeah, Jetly. It's going to be sitting in the Watchtower. Oh, yes. A couple of things we didn't hit on. I loved, I cannot remember his name. The guy's wife. Not the wife who gets kidnapped. The, like, kind of, sort of.
Oh, she's great.
Who plays
she's
Lady
like, we can
Beth
get the €50 back. We just kill him.
We kill him, yeah.
She was in... She pops up in a lot of Kurosawa's.
She's in Throne of Blood as Lady Macbeth, I think.
Okay, so that is her? Okay, I thought I recognized her.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's awesome. She's awesome at playing the really conniving woman. She's just really good at
fantastic, yeah. I loved her. I loved... I mean, we talked about the pub owner. We talked about the brother. I loved him, too.
Yeah, performances across the board.
Totally,
like
as
with
always.
Any Kurosawa film, there's top-notch.
Also running in Kurosawa films. I love it. I love running.
Yeah.
Where they all run together and they go.
Yeah.
It's great. Fantastic. Galactic Battles? I don't know what that is.
Galactic Battle. All right, I've got to head out.
Yeah.
And I want to talk to your wifey a little bit before I go, so I need to get those deals. Goodbye, everybody. See you next week.
All right. John Shepard plays himself, and I mean his voice. Oh, interesting. Love YOJIMBO's run right after he throws the knife at the gunslinger's arm. And he just, it's a second, yeah, exactly. And he just goes, whoop, sick. And we talked about how he kills people in a wide, and it's very impressive for not being concerned with being impressive. It's great. See you, but you won't see me. Oh, yeah. All right. Guys, what I'm gonna do this time, because last time I just left it up and it was a terrible idea. I'm gonna close it. I'm gonna shut down the stream. If I come back later, I will come back later. If not, I won't. I just don't want to leave you guys waiting like I did last time. Thank you so much for being here, as always. Lots and lots of love. I want to say House of Pain for some reason. Throne of Blood next week. It is Kurosawa's take on Macbeth. It can't be... Wait, Bye Forever. Wait, what? Why? What? Why are you saying that? Hope you like what you see. Because you're sarcastic? Oh, okay. Okay. Good to see you for 5 minutes. No problem, Jetly. Yeah, every Monday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. I don't know what time that is for you. But I'll see you guys. Lots and lots of love. I'm just going to end the stream. And I'll be back later if I can. And if not, I will be back even later. Thanks so much. Lots of love. CST here too. Rock and roll. Rage Soy. Oh, he's Soy? Okay. Okay, let's go get Soy. What's she doing? Risk of Rain 2. Cool. Nice. See you guys in a bit. Throne of Blood!